All right. So this week's question should be pretty easy. It's just kind of gauging your feelings. What are your opinions on the jungle that you've been going through?
Fucking hate it.
Terrible place.
Wish it would make up its mind.
Better than the caves?
Does that have a question mark on there?
It has a question mark on there at the end, yeah.
Okay, got it. And Thrum?
Does that include where it was cold?
That was kind of like a tectonic zone, not like the jungle with the trees and everything like that. You haven't ran into a cold patch like that again.
Yeah, he could do without plants.
There you go.
Food my food eats.
You telling me you guys didn't enjoy the mosquito fog?
Almost died from hypothermia a few times.
Just the one time, technically.
I'd heard that there was more insect matter on the planet than mammalian, but I wasn't so sure it'd be concentrated that thickly.
Believe me, I didn't include half the real stuff that you find in the Amazon rainforest that's just utter horror. Frickin' flies laying eggs in your tear ducts. Diseases that you breathe them in, it begins rotting your flesh while you're still alive. Oh, how could anyone live in the cold? Cold can live with me. Listen, Minnesota's having a heat wave right now, and I'm the only one that's grumpy about it.
What y'all's heat wave up to?
Well, last week it was 60. Today it's mid-40s.
Yeah, see, we're having a cold snap. It got down into like the 50s.
All right. So, does anyone need a recap of last time, or are we good to jump straight into this business?
Let's recap. I always forget something.
Yeah. So basically what happened was you guys began exploring the jungle after your encounter with the Blue Ghost section before last. You hit multiple terrain features, made multiple encounters with dinosaurs, worked your way through an area dense with mosquito population, eventually taking cover in a dinosaur graveyard of sorts, where you were attacked by spectral raptors. All this time you've been trying to make your way towards the narrow opening at the mouth of the wound that the sun is coming through. When your party was starting to get stuck in quicksand, Miku came out of his healing coma and was able to help save Freya. And he did his best to explain that he's been inside his body the entire time, but he's kind of been relearning it because the walking madness that had hijacked his body consumes brains, but as a fungus person, he does not have a brain like a mammal creature. Which then brought you guys to the cave opening here, which was narrowing as you go up these wide natural steps until just as the sun is setting, you came here where you ran into a large skeletal Tyrannosaurus Rex. It has on its tiny little fingers these large rings that seem to be fused into the bone, and it gives a roar before we jumped into the combat here.
Oh, I forgot it had rings too.
No, I'm fully expecting some kind of Jurassic Park combat music.
Sadly, I had so many other things to prepare. We're just using the jungle battle music. But
I thought you were about to say, prepare to be disappointed.
I mean, yeah, but...
I think Thrum, you're the one that usually handles Miku's actions, right?
Yeah.
Also
I'm losing internet all of a sudden.
A T-Rex just had to roll a 16, that motherfucker.
Yep.
Ooh, I have to adjust my sound setting. That's a loud song.
Oh, yep. Sorry, I need to turn it down. I forgot
just
that
I
forgot
nice thing
that
to
I
acknowledge.
I'm on Firefox instead of Chrome, and I forgot that I need to do this on Chrome. And my sound setting's all different now. So, give me a moment here while I swap browsers.
Yeah. I wish that they would fix some of the performance issues with this thing, but what are you going to do with a browser-based thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been messing around in Dungeon Draft, Richard,
Mm-hmm.
and a little pro tip for you is if you're making maps in that, after you make it, I would recommend taking it into Photoshop and then resaving it as a JPEG, because by default that exports them as PNGs. And even with though if you subscribe to Roll20, you've got like a nice big like memory bank, they do have a maximum file size that you can upload, and big PNGs can't be uploaded. So if you save it as a JPEG, then you can do it.
Yeah, sometimes for some reason JPEGs won't upload for me.
Really, that's strange. I've never ran into that.
Like it'll just show a big X and I can't put it on anything.
Mhm.
So like it depends on the size. Like small JPEGs are fine, but the big one I usually wind up having to resort to PNGs.
Okay, well,
Like sometimes it's better than others. So I usually just try to get the size of the file to a manageable thing.
yeah.
Good question. I should actually go check and see how much my data is at. It would help if I was on the right account, though. Goddamn.
It's rather sizable, so like I'm not too worried about mine.
Yeah, I'm only at 385 megabytes out of like 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
It starts going up really fast if you start putting like your own music and stuff in there. But
that's
I
probably.
haven't been able to find ones that I like enough to put in my own. I just have been using the ones they've had on there.
Yeah.
My issue is I have trouble getting songs to loop.
Mm. Okay, loading back in now. There we go. That's how the mic should be properly balanced. There we go. All right. Back in the game. Everyone all rolled up for the initiative?
Are you going to control Freya, or should we just bring in Ivy and not use Freya?
I guess I'll just move Freya off battle map for now. You can bring in Ivy.
I just figured that way we don't have to, because I know you're going to have stuff you have to do on your own.
Appear to have lost Cope in the call, so.
Yeah, he says he's having internet problems.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're waiting a few more minutes.
Yep. You can roll up for Ivy's initiative while we wait.
Yeah. What the hell happened there? Why do I always roll natural 20s on Ivy's initiative, I swear?
Because Ivy's very skilled. Oh, there he is.
The universe is trying hard not to let us play.
I know. Are you able to get into game?
Yeah, it's Roll20's loading.
Okay.
I can hear you, and I should be there in a second.
Yep.
If somebody will roll for Miku.
Sure, I'll handle it. Well, I have one thing to roll for anyway, so.
Come on, Roll20. Damn it. I think I lost it again.
We'll get there eventually, guys.
Shit happens.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised how fast the time went last time we were playing Rune Lords.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like it had just started, and then all of a sudden, oh, look, it's 8 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how most of the sessions where I'm like the GM feel to me, because I just always enjoy it.
Yeah.
I gotta say, though, you guys are getting close to leveling up again already.
Yeah, you said like every other session.
But you'll probably level up at the end of next session.
I think that's the level where I can take my first Pathfinder Chronicler.
It'll be 6th level, yeah. Sounds about right.
Apparently, in the book it was introduced, the Arcane Savant for Pathfinder is actually a member of the Pathfinder Society, too. Wasn't planning on that, but could be an interesting route to take.
I mean, the Pathfinder Society's got all sorts of like moral people. Some people are starry-eyed adventurers like Lucilla, and other of them are like, I just want to loot ruins.
And there's some people who are just like, I want to kill shit.
If I don't loot the ruins, someone eviler might.
And sometimes that person is me.
Now, you see, I just want to kill people and make money. These people want to kill people, make money, and conquer the world. Who would you rather have the loot?
Oh man, there's from one of the D&D shows I listen to, there's a T-shirt I almost want to spend money on. That was a joke from one of theirs, but they made a T-shirt for it that just said "Burn towns, get money." That's all the character motivation you need.
Hey, Thrum's on the initiative now.
Yep.
You okay there, Cup?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Cool. That should be everybody. So Ivy manages to beat out the unliving fossil.
Probably just tuck into this corner and roll a stealth.
Okay.
That seems very Ivy appropriate.
Yep.
Oh no, this is already turned into the one fight where Gombo's going to roll really well.
That'll be her turn.
On the fossil. Remember correct. Yeah. So it is going to move here. Oh, nope, sorry.
Ooh.
There, not into other people's spaces.
And Miku's dead.
Trample attack.
It is getting 1 bite attack and 1 tail attack. The bite attack will target. That will be Miku, and the tail attack will target Thrum. So, stop.
Wait,
Bite.
Thrum?
Yeah, Thrum.
Oh, he has reach, huh?
Yeah, because you have eyes, his tail attack has a reach of 10 feet.
Gotcha.
Because it's a big old long tail. So first up, bite attack against Miku. 13.
We'll miss.
Okay, so he manages to avoid those gnashing jaws. Tail attack against Thrum. 15.
Did I say that I was wearing my armor again? I don't know.
No one ever said that they put their armor back on after the jungle, so keep that in mind.
I wear light armor, so I'm fine.
Yeah, that would hit then.
All right. You take 24 bludgeoning damage.
Yep.
He's going to try and absorb some of that. Where's
Oh, I
mine?
rolled 2 8s. That's why it's so high.
All right, it's just 5. Whew.
Yeah, so Thrum, you just got hit by a tree that came at you horizontally.
Well, next turn he's probably going to be angry, so that might help.
I think so.
Fergis.
Seeing the wind knocked out of his uncle, I'm going to spend an action to mage armor up
Okay.
Getting a little bit more AC. I'm going to circle around this guy.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to bonus action give advantage to I'll say Taskill's next attack.
All
Since
right.
he's next. Then I'm gonna action surge and attack.
Okay. Go for it.
And I will use a superiority die to add that to the attack roll.
Okay.
12. I assume that misses.
Yeah, it does miss. As you bring your stab shroom around, you do like a forward roll in between its legs, and you come around the back to stab it. And as your knife comes in, it hits what looks like a faintly blue glowing barrier that forms maybe 3 inches above the bone. That's got like floating runes in it that collides with your blade.
Yabba dabba dope.
Hey, look, it's here.
Hey.
Hey guys, sorry about the triple fake out.
It's okay.
Never
No, I
apologize
just
for
ended up-
the triple fake out.
I just ended up falling asleep, gonna be honest.
All
You
right.
can go ahead, you can go move Ivy off now since we have
Yeah.
a full party.
We'll
Here,
do
there's
that
a
then.
brief debate on if Texas had daylight savings time.
I mean, daylight
Doesn't
saving
all of
time.
the US?
Like 2 states don't, I think, or 1 state.
I mean, I'm always kind of
Oh.
the opinion that it's kind of dumb when we don't need it, but whatever.
Yeah.
There's
Is it,
a-
is it Dammerhall? Is it Dammerhall this week?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
We're fighting the
Traffic accidents
T-Rex.
shoot up around this hour change every year. So, yeah, no, there's a very real cost in lives for it.
Yeah, we'll wait on taking turns until you can get in here and roll this shift.
Fellas, I think I've heard productivity goes down for like 2 weeks after the shift.
I can believe it.
Wouldn't surprise me.
There's plenty of other countries besides America that don't do daylight saving times, and you know what that does for them? Absolutely nothing. They function completely normally.
So hey, this meme is appropriate. I just saw when I was closing down a tab.
I definitely think we ought to try that.
Yeah. This T-Rex is going to be fun. Not a lot of special abilities, as you might imagine, but
But lots of hits and lots of hardness.
Well, do we just want to put Michael at the end of the turn order and go?
I'll let him roll because we're still pretty early on, and technically, no damage has been inflicted to the beastie yet. I mean,
Only
Ivy
the Thrum.
No, only the Thrum. Yeah.
It's only a flesh wound. 1/3 of his hit points.
That's why I figured it'd be easy just to remove Ivy because it looked like she hid. So maybe
Yeah.
thematically she's fighting with us and hiding at the same time. But
Mhm.
Possibly just terrified, staying in the corner.
yeah, speaking of, I'll let you guys know there's going to be times where you probably will have NPCs with you in the party of Rune Lords. But with as many animal companions and shit you guys have, they're just thematically going to be there.
Yeah, that's very
Moral
fair.
support.
See, look, she got Freya got a 11, so turn wouldn't even come up yet. So
I'm cool if you want to back the dinosaur up and start over.
No. all
Yeah.
right, Taskill.
Yeah, do Spirit Guardians for my action. And it wasn't Spiritual Weapon. As bonus action.
I don't think you can do that because they're both
You
spells
can't-
and one's
you
not a
can't cast
cantrip.
both- Yeah. You can only cast 2 spells in a turn if you are a sorcerer who spends sorcery points or if one of them's a cantrip.
Really?
Yep.
Even though one's a completely different
Yeah.
spell?
If
Yep.
one's a bonus action, if you cast that, you can only use a cantrip as your standard action.
It's a rule to stop casters like yourself from completely action economying the fuck out of the rest of the party. Because then that would mean next round you went from 1 attack per round to 3 attacks per round.
More than anything, I think it stops the use of I'm going to heal and then bonus action heal, and I'm going to drag this fight out with just nonstop healing all the time.
Yeah. Which I've heard a lot of GMs do that, where it's like the baddie keeps healing themselves, even though that's very clearly they're losing. Like, I understand it's like a character choice, but if they're not running away, like...
Well, like, I know we ripped on Loki that one time, but honestly, if like that big bad guy had just used heal on himself, which is a big brings him back to full, that's like fine. That's an oh shit moment. Like this isn't even my final form thing.
Yeah,
but like in like 5e, if they kept using healing word and trying to keep themselves up, then it just gets a little tedious.
So, all right. So that was Spiritual Guardians as a standard. It needs to make a save on its turn or right now. I always
I
forget.
believe its turn.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a Wisdom saving throw, right? Or was it?
Yes, Wisdom.
Okay. Cool. Okie doke. So if there's nothing else, Thrum.
All right. He's angry. He's huffing and puffing. Out of character reminder on 5e, since I'm within the T-Rex's reach, I can move and not provoke?
Correct.
As long as you don't move away.
Okay. I'm just going to move up here just to keep the board cleaner.
Okay.
And he is going to... Would I get flanking? Oh, we don't have flanking.
There's no flanking.
That makes it easier then. And he is going to bonus action rage.
Okay.
And then get to attack twice, right?
Yeah, at this level you should have 2 attacks.
Okay.
Because you're only 1 level barbarian and 5 ranger, or is it vice versa?
Yes.
Okay. Then yeah.
Correct. Oh, that's a crappy roll. No dice?
No, that does not hit. That one does hit. As you bring your pike in, it collides with this solid magical barrier that kind of like it's invisible normally, but when you contact with it, it ripples out and you all see it. It's kind of like this blue arcane magic type of 2-inch barrier around all the parts of it. But you managed to push through and you managed to make contact with it anyway. That's 9 points of damage.
Damn thing's got big armor.
And as you push into it, as you pull out your pike after stabbing into the bone, the wound isn't quite as deep as it could be, as like arcane energy shoots out from it across the room. Once again, it's kind of almost look like these blue veins in the air, if you will, slightly transparent. And they go to these different piles around it, where you can see now the glow of these gems just in the top of these bone piles, which I used my skull pile image, but they're actually just animal bones.
Surprisingly little difference.
Yeah. It's just, listen, it's hard to find all the pictures that you need sometimes.
Quite a few of those. And it's like a energy tethered to all of them, you said?
Yeah, it like the damage that he inflicted seemed to whip out. You can do knowledge rolls on your turn. Comes up if you want. But that's Thrum's turn, I believe. All good? Nope.
Yeah, I just got your DM, so.
Yep. Cool. Okay. Freya.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't someone usually need to be around to animate these things?
That's
so
how I
you-
understand it typically. But
So it was made or and left here.
Except in particularly malefic areas, but yes.
Something about those gems.
Stepping all the way down over. Should we fairy fire this guy? Or can I get him in something that's not going to get you guys? Yeah, whatever.
I think you can half fairy fire into the wall and just get him.
Nah, I'm just going to shoot him.
You got 2 attacks. So it's all good.
When in doubt, shoot.
That'll hit. All right. Same kind of deal as before. You score hit, it does damage, but the effect seems somewhat lessened as you smash through its kind of arcane barrier.
All right. Second attack.
That will miss.
All right. And then the very last thing is I will send up the Steel Defender. So let's have him come that way. With the Force Empowered Rend.
Which will definitely miss.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's my turn.
Okay.
Womp
Mickey.
womp.
Miku's on you, Thrum.
Oh, okay. Miku. Get a sheet open.
Also,
All right.
just
He's going to
so you
swing.
guys know, you probably don't have to roll a knowledge roll for this, as it is a walking skeleton. It is immune to poison damage.
Yeah, figured.
You guys have fought skeletons before. It's pretty easy to put that together.
Dang.
Is that the pacifying spores? Are they poison for him?
No, they're necrotic. I was just letting you know, because I think Miku does poison damage with his fists. Your spores actually don't do damage. They
They stun
protect
him.
people. They protect people, if I remember correctly.
So he's going to use. Is that a? It doesn't say what kind of action it is.
It's when he's raging.
Yeah, so as long as he's raging, he just has those spores up, I think.
Yep, that's how it works.
It says 3 times per day. I think we're talking
sorry.
about
The pacifying spores is Miku's thing, and yes, it would definitely be immune to pacifying spores, which is an action.
Okay.
Rapport spores is, I think, what you're thinking of.
No, he has pacifying spores and rapport spores because those are racials. For
And then spore protectors.
yeah, spore protectors is what I was thinking of.
Okay, so he is going to go into a rage.
Mhm.
First creature you hit becomes the target of his spore warriors. That target has disadvantage on any attack roll that isn't against him if he hits. Okay. Good deal. Well, then he is going to punch animal.
That'll hit. Yep. See, so the poison damage doesn't count max damage on fist though, which is
Yeah,
nice.
14 damage. That's nice.
And does he have 2 attacks at this point?
No.
No, he's still just 4. Okay. All right, and he hits. So that guy has disadvantage on anyone else that attacks.
Okay.
As spores surround him.
Yep. These kind of glowing amber spores come out from Miku. Nolgrim.
the name of the ancestors, I shall cleanse the land of your presence and hit him with a grudge.
Okay.
And then see. You said I could use a knowledge roll to try to figure out what the gemstones are?
Yeah, you can give me an Arcana. Ooh, very nice. Yeah, so basically what this is that all 6 of these, or all 5. No, there are 6. Yep, sorry, miscounted. All 6 of these gemstones are basically holding concentration on a spell that's targeting the unliving fossil. And with a 23, you know that spell is Warding Bond. For those of you who don't feel like looking it up, what Warding Bond does is that so long as the targeted creature is within 60 feet of it, it gets +1 AC and resistance to all damage. However, half the damage that it takes is also dealt to the thing maintaining concentration. So since for every one of these gems it's within 60 feet of, it gets +1 to AC and to saves, and it can take, and half of its damage is dealt to one of these gems. So you can either try to target the gems to reduce the effect, or if you just keep wailing on the fossil, the gems will eventually blow out like fuses in a fuse.
What if we move the gems away from it? Does it, like you said, it's 60 feet? If you move farther away than that?
If we take our problem and push it somewhere else.
Well, I meant specifically the gems, not the dinosaurs.
Yes, well, they're part of the problem.
Would Nolgrim know if they're stacking? So, like, if
They are stacking.
they are stacking. And yeah, Nolgrim will say, the gems are giving it strength, as you said, and it's also absorbing some of the damage. Break them first. You'll start by firing a pair of Eldritch Blasts at this one.
Okay.
Actually, let's go at this one.
Okay.
And it'll be disadvantaged since I'm in melee, I believe.
No.
Yes.
No, because if you're targeting something else, I don't.
Oh, right, you're targeting something else. That's it.
If you were targeting him, it would be a disadvantage. So
Okay.
you're firing into melee.
Perfect. Right.
Also, these gems do count as inanimate objects if you guys have any abilities that affect those
Ooh,
differently.
actually.
Shatter.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like I could get more than one at a
I
time.
was just gonna say I was gonna say yelling out at Fergus like I can gather him up.
Do it. Get those 3 together. I'll focus on the ones down here. And Eldritch Blast for that one for this down. melee.
That'll hit. It just does 5 force damage because you
Yeah.
don't have a grudge against
Yeah.
it. But that hits. It does full damage.
All right, and then for the next one, same target.
Okay. Yeah. Full damage.
And move action. I'll just shift over here a little bit, and
All
that'll
right.
be my turn.
On Living Fossil's turn. It has disadvantage to get everyone except Miku, but that's fine. So both of its attacks will be on Miku. So first the bite.
Ooh.
Ooh.
53.
Well, welcome back, Miku. It was nice knowing you.
So he's at 0.
Oh my god.
Holy
yeah.
shit! 12, 12,
Damn,
10,
well, I guess it was
12.
great having you back, buddy.
Look at that
So
roll.
what's his damage there?
So
74.
Does that massively kill Miku?
because it is 74 damage. No,
Miku
because
was
it would
raging,
be,
so half.
yeah, it would be halved, and also, well, I guess he's down. So
No, he's fine.
You still up?
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
it's
it is.
halved.
Then it's also grappled by the dino. But yeah, it does 4d12 plus 7, and then it crit.
Yeah.
So
And
what
you
you
rolled
guys see,
3 12s. Jesus.
it still has an attack left. But what you guys see is Miku hits it, and these swirling amber glowing spores go around it, and it draws its eyes toward Miku, and then just the jaws come down and just munch, and then you just see his legs sticking out and kicking.
That's gonna take more than water.
I would like to note that all myconids within 240 feet can sense his pain.
Yep. And then because I can't think of a logical reason how it could tail attack a creature while
In
it's
his
biting
mouth.
it. I'm just gonna say it is going to disadvantage tail attack Taskill.
Mhm.
16.
That will actually still hit without my armor.
All right. 18 bludgeoning damage. And then give me a concentration check as I roll its wisdom saving throw against your spiritual. So I forgot to do that. Okay, so you maintain the spell. This would be 5 higher, so 13, I believe, still fails.
Yep.
Okay.
That should be rolling. You see how it goes.
Yep.
Haha! I get you back with 9, with half of the damage you got me for.
Does that affect the stones as well?
Yeah. As it collides with him, you see the ripple out effect go to the stones.
But I mean,
Well,
like, this stone is within radius, I think, of him.
It is treated as an inanimate object. Its biz
Okay.
weapons don't beat down doors for you. So,
Okay.
I mean, they're literally inert doing nothing. So I can only
Fair
give you guys
enough.
so many bones. All right, Fergus.
As the tail comes back from hitting Taskill, I just kind of grab onto it and use its momentum to disengage.
Mhm.
Fine, over here, I'm going to grab this gem.
All right, give me an athletics roll to pick it up. It's about 2 feet high and like a half foot wide.
It had to be athletics.
It's just raw strength trying to haul this sucker out of the ground. Yeah, that son of a bitch is stuck in there.
Hold on, I'm going to check something with my thing. I think I can add... Yep, I can use a superiority die to add to this.
Okay.
So that'll be a 17.
17,
Nice.
close, but doesn't pull it up.
Jesus Christ.
It
Okay, well,
appears
I'm-
to be rooted to something under the bone.
Well, then I got nothing. That's my turn.
Just let you know, it's a DC 20 to pull it out.
Yeah, then that's impossible for me. Okay, carry on.
Taskill.
Right, well, it's a free action to maintain concentration, right?
Is it? I thought it was just whenever you take damage.
Yeah, I think it's just my
Yeah, it's just that you can only maintain one
Yeah,
concentration at a
You
time.
can only do one concentration at a time. Yes, this is correct.
But it doesn't really affect anything else, so I'm going to come over, whack at that gem with the battle axe.
I believe it gets an attack of opportunity against you.
That it might. All for a
Yeah.
miss as well.
Got 15 reach.
Yep, it's got. Well, he left his 10-foot
Oh,
area.
gotcha,
It's got a
gotcha.
Could retcon to go just there, but that's up to you.
I'll allow it. You can go just there. That's fine.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to allow it, you can just kill us.
And
With your 74 damage.
That was a crit. I'll let you know.
At least it was the NPC.
Yeah.
Hey,
And then-
this thing doesn't
And
have
somebody was raging.
this thing doesn't have legendary actions. Like,
And y'all have seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, all we need is like his finger, and we just plant that in the ground, and Miku goes back.
There you go.
yeah. Which are you targeting? The one closest to you?
with the battle axe, yeah.
Yeah.
And then-
You come at it from kind of a bad angle, and it just kind of sparks against the side of it. Just to let you know, these things are AC 10.
yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
But between, avoiding the tail and
Mm-hmm.
climbing the pile of bones,
Mm-hmm.
but also bonus action, the weapon down at the other one.
Okay. Go for it.
While he's rolling, Fergus would have yelled over at Nolgrim, "This guy son of a bitch is stuck to the ground."
9, 4,
Shite.
All right. There's definitely fissures forming in this southernmost one.
All right, well, I do think that's every action I can take on this turn.
Mm-hmm. Thrum.
All right, Thrum is going to enter his immolated form.
All right.
Seeing things fall apart all around him. Miku just got eaten.
If you go to your token facing, there should be a third one for you.
Awesome.
Nice.
And I don't have the damage on there yet, but
Yep.
he is going to...
And this is the exact same form that he used when you guys had the cave in, by the way. The rocks of his body grow darker like lava rocks, and there's magma at the seams as just steam is shooting out from his joints and the sections where the rocks are.
And he is going to smash the rock behind him.
Okay.
Does that hit?
You used Miku's attack roll there?
Oops. No, I used Thrum's. I just have my name on Miku.
Gotcha. Okay, then 11 hits.
And then it does an additional 1d10 fire damage.
And I believe, if I remember, immolated. It does another 1d10 fire damage. And then, if I remember correctly,
Unarmed attacks deal double damage to non-magical inanimate objects. So I don't know if this counts.
Yeah, this would be a magical inanimate objects, but you still did 18 damage?
Yep. And then
Okay, yeah. This thing is so very weak right now. Its little chunks are falling off of it. You can see arcane energy shooting out of it.
He's going to smash it again. He's going
All
to step on it thematically.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just pulverized. It's gone. Okie doke. Freya.
All right, I'm going to shoot at this one over here.
Okay.
Gloomstalker number 1
All right, that'll hit.
for 13.
And it's shattered. At
And
3.
then for my second attack, I will target this one
Okay.
because now we know how to take on this boss fight.
You were doing damage to it, just less.
Gotta kill the ads.
Yeah.
10 will hit.
10 will hit. Yeah, you just said the AC. 9.
9. He's looking low, but not quite taken out yet.
And then I'll just have the Steel Defender take an attack on the T-Rex.
Okay.
If his sheet will come up. There we go.
Yeah, that'll hit. I'm just trying to see how many are within 60 feet still.
7.
So 7 damage. All right.
That is my turn.
All right. Miku. He's bitten, so he is grappled and restrained.
So he just can't do anything but try to break free.
So you all see a puff of spores come out and swirl around your minds, and you hear, "Please help! I am in danger."
His speed becomes 0. He attack rolls against him have advantage, and creatures has disadvantage on his rolls. So he can still try to hit it, but it'll be much harder. Or he can spend his action to try to break out.
Hang in there, Miko. I could help you. Just give me a sec. And I would recommend delaying his turn until after me.
Sure, he will do that. He will delay. As he tries to ponder the end of life.
All right. So, first thing I'm going to do is move out of the way and potentially provoke attack of opportunity as I do so.
Yep, here comes the tail.
Can he still bite with Miku in his mouth?
He cannot. He'll need to wait till his turn to drop him before he can bite, which is good. Otherwise, most of these attacks would be bites, because they also have 10 feet reach. 23.
All right. And then I will use my reaction to use Hellish Rebuke.
Mm-hmm.
As I get hit, a giant, fiery dwarf specter appears and just kind of goes for a major axe swing, dealing 4d10 fire damage. Could do a dexterity save to have it.
Okay, let's see. And it has how many gems? Okay, cool. So it'll be +4 to this dex save. 14.
I think that's a failure. Yep, DC is 15.
All right, so 25 points.
All right.
All right.
And then so it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, so I could get there. And then I shall turn and say, The ire of the dwarves are upon you, and use Hex upon him.
Okay. No save for that, correct?
Let's see.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not one of those GMs that remembered all the spells.
Oh yeah, that's additional 3 to the damage for my grudge on him.
Mhm.
So 28 damage, and
Okay.
and yeah, and I'll choose Strength as the ability has disadvantage on.
All right.
That's my bonus action, and then
Now, does that
my
apply to skill rolls or attack or just attack rolls?
ability checks.
Ability checks. Okay, so not attack rolls.
Right.
Cool.
But for
And
trying to
then-
break out, that might help.
Technically, it's
then-
just a flat DC. It's not an opposed roll.
And then I shall use Eldritch Blast on this crystal.
Okay.
So 1 on the crystal, and if it breaks, the other on the dino.
Gotcha. Go for it. That'll hit and do 12 force damage, which does shatter this one.
All right, and then the other one against Dino.
That'll just hit his AC. So that is 12 damage total.
Hey. Plus additional 2 for the Hex
So-
upon him.
14 damage.
13.
Question, not to ruin your
Oh.
day, Loki, but is your grudge curse a concentration thing?
No,
Okay. I was just going to ask because
Yeah.
if they had that and Hex up and they were both
No,
concentration.
nope. 2 different things.
Okay.
One's yeah.
All right, I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. Nope. We're good there. And that is my full turn.
Now,
Okay.
I think it's Miku's turn since he had delayed, right?
Yeah, he had delayed. Yeah.
Okay. He is going to try and get out of the grapple.
All right. So it would be a DC 17
Athletics.
athletics to escape.
Okay.
Isn't it?
And
Wouldn't it
does
be
it get-
opposed?
It is not, because it's a creature ability rather than a grapple attack.
Well, shit. I was
Usually he
hoping
gets
that-
advantage for being enraged.
Yes, he is raged,
Okay.
so he does have advantage. So,
Okay.
and he is a strength-based character, so this is not. Yeah,
I'm
so
glad
he can-
I gave him that
he gets
extra
out.
point of strength.
All right. He is going to pop out. And can he still attack?
I believe that's your action.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
your
Still
action.
move, and you can still
He
take a
can
bump.
move, but he doesn't want to take a hit. So he is going to. Tight. Can you full defense as a move action or anything like that?
No, only if you're a monk.
Okay.
You can't
There's
dodge.
the dodge action in there.
Time
Yep.
to multi-class Miku into a monk, so his punches
Yes.
and his defenses go
I
up.
mean, not impossible. He is pretty zen. I mean, if
This is
there's
true.
anyone who could qualify for a monk barbarian, I think. Maybe
Right.
I mean, he already knows how to punch.
yeah. All right. Unliving Fossil's turn. It is going to. I believe that the spores that give him disadvantage on attack rolls is gone now because I think you need to do it every round if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
You
that
have
sounds
to,
right.
I think you have to hit him for him to.
Yeah, that he didn't do damage. So it is going to brush Miku aside with a tail attack. 16?
Yep.
28 bludgeoning damage.
He's
Half
still up.
Getting
because he's
low.
raging.
Just barely, but he's still up.
He's holding on, baby.
He's more mushroom soup than mushroom man at this point, though.
And it is going to get a lot of attacks opportunities as it is going to close in on Nolgrim. Actually, I would move
Yeah.
here. It's out of the aura. Also, it's Spiritual Garden starting of its turn. I almost forgot. So this will be +4. 11, that'll fail. Or sorry, 15, that'll fail. All right, let's meet this here. Okay.
Attack of opportunity. 11 will probably not hit.
It will not hit now. I believe Miku, Thrum, and the Steel Defender Yep,
Yeah,
attack
I just
roll.
rolled for Thrum. I assumed.
Yep, that'll hit. So that will be 22 damage.
Did Michael fall asleep in his chair again?
No.
Okay.
17 will hit, so you can go ahead and roll damage. That'll be 8.
+2 for the rage,
Did
so 10.
Did I miss something?
oh,
Or
no,
was I supposed to
you're
take
getting
an attack
an
of
attack-
opportunity?
Yeah,
attack
still
opportunity.
defender.
You're a steel
Okay.
defender.
I know when people start asking if I've fallen asleep, then I missed something.
Usually a good sign.
And that steel defender will miss. But its turn's not over. It is going to bite Nolgrim.
Goodbye, Nolgrim.
Mhm.
Oh, we loved you.
We're gonna miss you, Nolgrim.
That will be 44 damage.
I am unconscious.
Yep, not enough to instant kill you though.
Nope.
You are currently grappled up in its jaws. There's no official rule for this, but I'm going to say so long as you're literally wedged in between this thing's teeth at the start of each of its turn, you'll fail a death saving throw. So that feels.
Is it fail or like would it be a failure or like a critical failure sort of thing? Like if I take damage. Well, I guess if it's at the start of
If
my
it's
turn.
like if it is equivalent to
It-
taking damage, it'd be
Yeah.
2 death saves.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, yeah,
But-
it would be 2 death saves at the start of its next turn.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense.
All right, but that's its turn.
So the
Even
hex
with you
is
guys,
gone, the grudge
hammer-
blade is gone, or the grudge is gone.
I will say, even with you guys trying to power through its shield, it is looking like it's taking quite a bit of damage now.
Might be out of
So-
range of its shields at this point, though.
Fergus.
Yeah, looking at this crystal and realizing that can't really pinpoint precision damage onto a crystal, I'm just gonna use it to strike a Captain Morgan pose as I turn around to fire at the T-Rex.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
because as you were pulling it before, everyone's been wailing on the T-Rex so much. There's like the crystal's growing warmer and little cracks are forming in it.
And I just put my foot on it to make a pose and turn, and as I yell at Thrum to give him an advantage on his next attack,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna fire away.
No sneak attack because Nolgrim is unconscious.
Ooh. Well, then that'll be pointless to do, so I'm just gonna hold my attack until someone gets close to him.
Okay.
Because it literally is a night and day difference.
Mm.
So yeah, I just hold and yell at someone to get up there and distract the fucker.
Taskill.
Hmm. Yeah. 60 feet for a bonus action. So yeah, I guess I'll throw Healing Word on Nolgrim.
Mhm.
To at least avoid a death save for him.
Yes.
Don't make it sound like such a chore.
Right.
I know, right? He's always dying. I guess I'll move up and take the dodge action to hopefully not instantly die when it's my turn. Again.
Gotcha.
Yep, and I'll fire my short bow.
We'll say if you have 2 attacks, you'd only get 1. So.
I don't have to yet, so
Okay, cool.
that's why I said it would have been pointless to fire 2 shots and not get sneak attack.
That will hit.
Once I get multi-attack, it'll be more worth it. But
Oh, yeah. So that's 13.
and I believe if he said 60 feet, he's still in range of this crystal up here.
He is still in range of that one. So you hear a cracking sound as a new fault appears in the one that you have your foot on.
Mm-hmm. Just slowly take my foot off of it.
All right. Thrum. Keep in mind that per the wording of immolated form, unless you work to sustain it, at the end of this round, your immolated form will end and you'll take 5 levels of fatigue.
Oof.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. He's definitely not going over 2 rounds because that is
Yeah.
steep.
He can perform a concentration check to try to do more than 2 rounds, but then when he comes out, he just dies.
Jesus.
So he's going to shrink back down,
Mhm.
seeing Nolgrim being eaten, and rush over there. And take a swing.
You have advantage on this attack because I yelled at you.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yep, that'll hit. 14
And he
damage.
gets advantage on both, or just one?
Just the first one.
Okay. And he'll swing
This
again.
crystal by Fergis shatters. The second one will hit.
Yeah, my bonus action, help action, is fairly limited. It only lasts for 1 round, and it's only for 1 attack, so it's good, still good though.
Yeah.
All right. On the second hit, Thrum, you bring your weapon in, and it makes straight contact with bone. There was no arcane shield.
Hey, chop him down, boys. Ribs for dinner.
All right. Freya. And even though that you don't have like levels of exhaustion, thematically you're still like huffing and puffing because doing that immolated form is very taxing on your body.
Yeah, and that's the first time he's ever made himself do it, so he immediately made himself undo it.
Yeah.
That's gonna, cause chafing.
If I got up into one of Nolgrim's adjacent squares, could I heal him? What's the ruling on that? 'Cause
Yeah.
you said... Okay.
You only get attacks of opportunity if you leave its threatened area, entering your total.
I know, just because the whole, like, him
Reaching.
being grappled thing,
Oh,
right?
that's right. He's up in the air right now, being grappled by this thing. Yeah, I guess then technically, yeah, you can't touch him.
Alright, then that does change what I'm going to do.
Kind of a rule fiat thing, but I feel like that's true to the fiction.
Freya puts away the Gloomstalker, casts Branding Smite. Oh, I didn't realize it rolled it for you like that. But that'll just be damage added on top of my next attack
Sounds good.
with the Battle Axe. One-handed.
That'll hit. I assume you're getting within melee range. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to move.
well.
+5 more on top.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
remember this thing? It's a weird thing that's it's
yeah,
rolling
I think it's rolling your one-handed and two-handed at the same time.
Yeah.
You might have both damages on
Yeah,
there.
you might
in a
have
weird
both
way.
damages listed underneath
Let
the
me
weapon.
see.
Yep, you
See,
do.
one
If you
I
just-
do. I can turn one off. Bam.
Yep. I like that that's a feature. Like, I love how on the Pathfinder sheet, under equipment, you can list which armor that you're currently wearing. That'll also hit. And then you could just uncheck them if you like put on your civilian clothes.
Yeah.
Because like
This one, if you click on an item, it makes like a little drop down like text thing. If you know
yeah,
the text for what's worn and what's not and everything,
Mhm.
but it's a little bit more complicated.
yeah. I just like that for like Pathfinder because I don't feel like Lucilla would be wearing her leather armor around to get drinks at the bar. So
Yeah.
I uncheck it to be honest. So yeah, you lay into this thing with your battle axe, and it's definitely looking a lot rougher than when you guys first came at it. Anything with your steel? Oh no, you bonus actioned branding smite. So steel defense.
Yeah. Steel Defender's shut down right now.
Yep. Miku.
Miku is going to toss a javelin
Okay.
from distance.
Does he want a reckless attack so he has a better chance of getting hit next turn?
That'll hit. Eight damage.
Do you get rage damage on Throne?
It is strength-based damage rolls, and thrown javelins
Yes.
are strength-based. So That was kind of the joke when Kenneth did that Dex Barbarian Elf, and then someone lowered his strength score, and it made absolutely no difference. I love that. All right. And I'm pretty sure that your Spore Guardians only triggers on melee attacks. So Nolgrim.
Yep.
You are still in this thing's jaws.
From within the mouth, you may hear a muffled litany of swearing, not the least of which saying, "Better fucking put me down or I'll skull fuck you out of sheer spite," and him with a vicious mockery.
Okay.
So, will save? Or wisdom save?
Is that psychic damage?
It is psychic damage.
It is immune to psychic damage.
But he could still potentially have disadvantage on the next attack. It doesn't say if he takes damage.
Okay, that's fair. So is it a will save, you said?
Wisdom save, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll have disadvantage on its next attack.
I'll take it. And that's really all I can do at this point.
All right.
It looks like it does work. Spore protectors.
Oh, it does?
It just says first attack. Yeah. The first creature you hit with an attack on your turn becomes the target of the warriors.
That's cool. I did not know that.
And I didn't realize that if it attacks with disadvantage on somebody else, they also get resistance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your spiritual warriors damage there, Kenneth, because it definitely failed that save. It's looking not in good space. It is going to rear its head back, and it lets go of Nolgrim by tossing him up into the air. And then as he's coming down, it's going to try to bat it with its tail as it turns around. So this
That's
will be
fucking right. Oh shit.
It will be at disadvantage. 16 looks like.
That'll still hit.
18 bludgeoning damage as its tail whacks you, and you just impact full force into the wall.
But you've got resistance,
Conscious again.
so it's only 9 damage.
9, that would still put me on.
Yeah,
everything.
he was at 8 hit
like 8.
I just love that. He cusses it out. He tosses it up the air. He's like, "That's fucking," and then smack.
That's
And
fucking
then-
right. Boom.
It's going to bite Taskill, which, if I remember correctly, the Spore Guardians, is it all attacks or just its first one are at disadvantage?
I took the dodge action either way, so.
Okay.
Until
Never
the
mind.
start of your next turn, that target has disadvantage on any attack roll that isn't against you.
Cool. All right. So here's disadvantage bite attack against Taskill.
Hey, would that have affected the natural 20 that decimated Nolgrim the first time around?
No, because he didn't get to make that.
Gotcha.
That turn he didn't get to make an attack, so it didn't have disadvantage.
So
Gotcha.
that bite will still hit Taskill.
Yep. Oof.
31.
But resistance, so half damage.
Yep, you take half damage because
So 15 or 16.
that will be rounded down to 15. And then you are grappled and give me a concentration.
Man, that is a really strong ability. I'm seeing a ranged barbarian build.
Yeah.
That's why I built Miku that way. I'm like, he's a tanky mother effer. he's not worth consideration. Yep. So you maintain your guardians.
Yeah, I feel
Right.
like Miku's when we need some health and tankiness, and then Ivy's for when we need just blasting power.
Yeah, he's probably not as good at crowd control, but I mean, he's decent. He still attacks, but
I'm gonna go ahead and give advantage on Thrum's next attack again.
Mhm.
And I use Miku's shoulder to not shoulder. I kind of tuck behind the side of him where he has his arm raised from throwing the javelin. He's like, "Excuse me," and I'm gonna fire an arrow.
all right.
And I will use my ability to add a D8.
All right, cool.
Watch another 1, I swear to God. Okay,
Nope,
so
that'll hit.
15.
That'll make a hit.
For 17 points of damage.
17 points of damage.
As the arrow flies down and hits one of its rib cage, cracking the bone or something.
You fire the arrow and you aim for a vertebrae joint and its spine, and you manage to sever it, and the entire creature starts shaking as it lets loose a roar that shouldn't, by all logic, be able to be made as it starts falling to the ground underneath the crushing weight of its own bones. And it is destroyed.
Oh, nice.
It had 12 hit points left.
High five, everyone. All right, let's go.
Fergus
I
chimes out like,
didn't realize
that
we were
wasn't
that
so
close
hard.
to it being down.
Profusely sweating behind Miku. That wasn't so bad.
Taskill clambers his way out of the mouth, stands up, dusts himself off, then kicks the thing in the nose.
Uh-oh, you don't have your boots on. It's going to hurt.
And yet another combat we've done without Freya taking damage.
Range characters.
This is the benefit of sniping.
Yep. Nolgrim, give me a death saving throw.
Just did.
Okay, cool. We'll get to if anyone helps you in a second, as you just like spread eagle flat on your face on the ground. Taskill, when you kick the nose of the dinosaur, you didn't see it before, but now that you're up close and it's holding still with the dust from the battle settling, you do notice that on the kind of the area in between its eyes of its nose, that there is what looks like carvings, like a seal in the bone that someone put in there. And it is actually a single letter in the common human language, and it is just the letter K.
Fergus, Freya, they wrote something on it. I'm going to make sure Nolgrim lives.
Looks like they got this dinosaur from Kmart.
Let's take a look at this Maker's Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I'll assist you.
Is something I need to roll?
I don't know. That's up to Gombo.
Was Maker's Mark an ability, or were you just role playing? I honestly don't-
I'm just role playing because I suspect that's what it is. I don't know.
in investigation, I would say.
So
Okay.
I'll aid you so you can have advantage.
All right.
All right, 21. Yep. So Nolgrim gets 12 hit points, and he's the one who
Yeah,
saves.
hit him with that, and then I guess we'll use some of the Stein for the rest to get him back up.
Mhm.
So that's
Might not be
up
the best
to
place for it.
6d4 plus 6.
Might not be the best place for it, but we can also rest and try to bandage ourselves up.
I mean, the surface is right there as well, up to the
Yeah.
north. So, so on that investigation, the obvious, easy stuff right away. Around on each of its dinosaur fingers has 3 fingers on each hand. Each one has a large, size for dinosaur, platinum ring, each worth about 50 gold. 50 gold. This you know from investigation and your knowledge of artifice and spells. They are the material component for the spell Warding Bond. The actual spell, if you look it up, is that each person needs to wear one of these platinum rings, and that's how you have the connection. It is not consumed in the spell, so if you want to, you can pry those off. They couldn't be removed in combat because they're like fused with the bones, but out of combat, I'm not going to make you roll.
Nolgrim has a pick. We can just chisel away.
Yeah.
Things don't just come back to life on their own. I knew there had to be some kind of necromancer.
With the 21 as well, the K that is engraved into its skull actually is not a magical rune in any sort of way. It's kind of like fancy filigree with like just some artsy, I don't know what the proper wording for them, but you know how you've seen it, like when people have fancy symbols at like the start of a chapter.
Maker's Mark. That's what I said earlier.
Yeah, it's very much just a Maker's Mark. However, on its inside, around the inside of its skull and going down its spine in its ribcage, you do see many magical runes carved into the bone. With the 21 and your general experience and the K that you notice on the front, it definitely looks like it's not dwarven magic. It is more human styling.
Question, Gombo.
Mhm.
Looking at the K and knowing my skill with calligraphy as well, being in a port city, would I be able to discern whether it might be from any certain particular culture that I might know of? Would it be like a Corsiconian kind of style, or?
Give me an insight roll.
A Frenchman clearly wrote this.
12.
Um.
Well, that
Well-
actually is a thing, though. There's different kind of handwriting styles
Oh, yeah.
based on where you live.
It's definitely not. It's fancy, but it's a little bit more Avalander than Corsiconian.
Okay.
And with those details, it has to be made by a human wizard, a human characteristic, and whoever it is has a seal that has K.
Hmm. What was the name of that crazy wizard that was on the Mushroom Forest?
Caliburb.
I mentioned that to the group. I'm like, do you think the crazy wizard had anything to do with this?
This doesn't seem like his shtick.
Well, I mean, if you paid attention to him, nothing really seems like his shtick anymore.
I don't know.
Or I guess everything.
He seems eccentric enough to raise a beast like this just out of sheer whimsy.
I mean, he's certainly powerful enough to.
We're gonna have to kill him eventually, aren't we?
Oh God, I hope so.
Weren't you the one that got the natural one on your insight and you think he's a legit genius?
I don't think that was me.
I got turned into a frog, so I don't remember anything from that.
Might have been, but I'm not
Every,
sure.
every time I think of him, I just reflexively croak.
I just remember that me and Nivy Ivy stole from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking around at this thing, this rather powerful skeleton setup, and the whole warded defense of these gems, it certainly went to a lot of effort to create this guardian.
Yeah, someone didn't want anything coming through.
Now, do you think it was keeping things down here or keeping things out from up there?
Yeah, we can't really ask it, can we?
Freya, do you mind coming with me to inspect the last crystal that's up there and see if it's salvageable for anything?
Not at all.
Actually, there's a couple left over here.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see if, probably chances are slim, but could we retrofit this to give us warding bond if we put the rings on?
Give me a let's see, give me either a arcane roll, or if you have proficiency in gem cutters tools, you can do gem cutters with your stone cunning to double your proficiency bonus.
I'll do that.
You'll get different answers depending
Call
on.
Nolgrim over here for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'll roll an Arcana.
You said Arcana?
Yep, Arcana is.
Or I have a 7.
I'll just give you. I'll give you advantage for it.
Okay.
I have a +3, which isn't bad, but
I got a +7. Yeah. So you do Arcana. What do I roll for? Gem cutting?
Gem cutting, and then you can have stone cutting, which will double your proficiency bonus.
But then, what modify? Intelligence?
Yeah, this would be intelligence.
Okay. So this +6.
Okay.
Wait, why would it be +6?
Yeah, why?
What was it?
I thought it'd be +3 because you're stone cutting.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Okay.
It added
I wasn't sure what mods it put. So yeah, I wasn't sure what mods it puts into place.
Yep.
So 4 plus intelligence, 3 plus proficiency, and then another. Okay, so 18 is the legit one.
Yep. With that, gem cutting tools, these gems both of these have cracks in them. Just so you know, each of these gems had a maximum of 24 hit points. This one right here has 6. This one over here has 7.
Looks like they're on their last legs either way.
With the Arcana, modifying them to give you warding bond is not impossible. It is definitely something that you can do. Brushing aside the bones, they're not fused into the ground, but they had an actual emplacement that was just disguised with bones. Essentially, they have got a rivet in them that Fergis was trying to pull up. Out of combat, it wouldn't be too hard to work that out. You'll need to do some downtime Arcana chests to try to refit it, and then someone needs to hold on to that ring as like an armband or something. But if you do that, you'll get the benefits of warding bond with the crystal maintaining it for you, but it'll only be good for maybe one hit. Is like literally an attack of 12 damage would just crack either of these crystals. Also with a 23 on Arcana, making a physical object maintain concentration on a spell for you is like some level 20 wizard shit. So it would be very tricky if it's a little beyond anyone's here's wheelhouse to repair these things.
Yeah, this is some very high level wizarding things. I might now be convinced a little bit more that it was that wizard. Just because we haven't encountered any wizard as strong as him so far.
If you guys remember, in his tower, his security system was literally living magic that he made.
But if it is him, there's not much we can do about it. And I suspect, by looking at all of this, that for right now it might be best to leave well enough alone.
One day he's going to get really tired of us breaking his toys.
Well, with the immediate threat past, does anyone know how to figure out where we are?
Here, I'll move you guys back to the world map.
I was going to say something, I spaced off right at the last minute. Oh, were we taking a short rest before we pushed on to the outside, or in case there's something else out there?
Probably should.
Because I'm fine. I didn't take any damage, but I know a couple of you got hit pretty hard. One of which being our friendly mushroom friend.
Yeah. Thing hit hard, but you guys would have action combating to the ground if it hadn't had all the extra protection.
Oh, believe me, I know.
I can't believe I got 2 natural 20s on those bite attacks.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
It wasn't even just the natural 20s. It was like the damage rolls. You were rolling max dies for some of them.
Just, here's 74 damage. Good thing he was raging.
That would have been almost like the kind of damage that can kill you in one bite.
Yeah,
Almost.
if that had been IV, that would have been instant death.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for a little context on that thing might have been able to kill the entire invasion of Vastervault by itself.
All right. Back up to max.
I mean, you know each one of those attacks would have killed the drow.
Mm-hmm. That weight of numbers.
Yeah, that's why I said it might have, but still, as far as deterrents go.
All right. With 1 hit dice to spare.
Okay, let me know when you guys are all done short resting up.
Nolgrim's good. And back to full spells.
Oh, since Michael's here, I can ask him the question that he missed real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Now that you spent some time in it, what's your opinion of the jungle that you just moved through?
Freya thinks it is very interesting from an academic sort of isolated environment standpoint, but as for right now, she just wants to get through it because these dinosaurs are fucking deadly.
Cool.
I'm gonna go get a glass of water.
All right. Yeah, I guess if anyone needs a bio, this would be a good time.
It'd be fun if we just let Fergis get up to the mouth of the cave and then we just yoink him back like, nope, we're going back.
There it is.
It's the question of where to find that mine. We don't really, I don't recall anything other than it being in this general area. And
Yep.
I think it looked like there's a wall here and a wall here.
Yep. Those
So
are
this
walls.
general area could be here.
As soon as everyone's back, we can carry on.
Fergus just wanted to come here because of daylight. And the player wanted to come here because adventure.
Adventure. Well, you fought an undead T-Rex, so. Oh, also for calculating carrying weight, each one of those rings is a single light bulk, so you know. Because they're scaled up for a dino, so they're worth a little bit more than the smaller one like a person would wear.
Mm-hmm.
Is Michael back with his water yet?
I just got back.
Cool. And Cope, you good?
Yep.
All right. So, are you guys gonna step out into the fading light?
Yep.
Well, we fucking better.
At this point, we kind of have to after having to fight a T-Rex to get through.
You guys step out into the cave.
I heard the smile on your face, Gombo.
Listen, I tend to be enthusiastic about most things. You can't use that as an identifier of what's happening. You guys step out from the cave after a little over a week of traveling through the dinosaur-infested jungle, dealing with insects and heat and humidity. You are greeted by a refreshingly cool breeze as you step out onto soft green grass. A few yards ahead of you, you see the edge of a forest with large trunked oak trees with bright emerald green leaves that are colored in the fading sunlight as the sun is setting for the day.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said you hear the faint sounds of birds, and by all intents and purposes, it feels like you're just out in the middle of the wilderness.
I don't trust it. This is going to be like that scene from Portal 2 where the bird just hits the side and the wall comes.
I'm
Looking
gonna
up
put
to
my armor
his-
back on.
Can't trust
Looking up,
anything
do we
out
see the sky and everything?
Yes, you see the sky.
I would look over at Ivy and just point. This is what I grew up in. Open sky.
Yeah, she's looking up. Since this light is fading, it's brighter than she's used to, but she's not really seeing the problem with it. She's like, that's really something. It's a lot of sky up there. Like a cavern ceiling that you never see the end of. I don't know what you were all trying to warn me about, Thrum.
Thrum's putting on his armor.
Don't tell her. I say out loud.
You guys then smell something. It kind of smells like the smells of cooking coming from behind you. And you hear you see the spores of Miku come out, and then you hear his voice as you all turn around, and you see that he's standing in the fading sunlight, and little bits of smoke are coming off of him.
Oh.
And he says, I think there may be a slight problem. As curious as I am, perhaps it would be better. And he takes like 4 steps back into the cave, into the shadows of the Underdark, and he stops smoking. He goes, perhaps I should wait here. Make sure the cave entrance stays secure.
Aye.
If you guys look at myconoids, they take 2d6 radiant damage in direct sunlight.
Welcome to lean over to whoever's nearby, probably Fergis, and say, "Is Miku a vampire?"
I mean, no, I don't. Well, I mean, technically, if he drank blood instead of water, I mean, could he? No, he like kind of stops and thinks quizzically for a moment. I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, judging by the angle, the sun will be down soon. But judging from the location, it's not like we're going to get any more information on the mine from up here.
No, we're not going to be up here long anyway. We just came to let this fella have a breath, and we can head back in.
Come daylight, I want to see if I can get a vantage point to see if there's anything up here, like on the tallest tree I can find. But otherwise, I guess we can go back down.
Can we gauge what part of the world we're in?
Yeah. For now, I think it's getting dark. We probably need to start setting up camp. But
It wouldn't be a bad idea to scout out the area a bit and get an idea of why the T-Rex was there, just to see if it was a guardian to keep things from coming down below.
I will say, just to make it easier, we should set up camp just on the inside of the cave entrance.
Yeah, because you guys saw on the battle map, the actual entrance of the cave is only about 10 feet wide. It's an incredibly natural bottleneck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the chances of the T-Rex coming back to life is very small, right? And he's like chuckling and looking at everybody.
As long as the necromancer is far away.
That's not encouraging at all. I'm gonna sleep in a corner.
As you guys start setting up camp just inside the cave, you can still get the cool breeze of the forest. As you guys are rolling out your mats, you see just within the darkness of the tree line, you see little yellow floating dots of fireflies dancing around the trees. It's kind of even for like a hardened dwarven explorer, it really makes you think about how long you've been on this journey. Because you guys entered the Underdark, the start of the campaign, just as winter was breaking, and it has been about 7 months.
Dude, we're all about to have to age up our characters 1 year.
Yep. The seasons have passed. It's late summer now.
Just out of curiosity, I'm going to go out into like the forest line and set up a couple of those bear traps that we have just to see if we can catch any early morning game.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys taking a long rest?
I'm going to alarm the 10-foot area of the natural bottleneck
Yeah, makes
So if
sense.
anything tries to come in at us, at least we'll be triggered and the alarm will sound.
So it would seem.
I think we are taking the longest rest that we have this entire campaign.
Right.
Yeah. Now, if there was a lake nearby, we'd take a couple days.
The night passes uneventfully. Watches go very normally. Overall, it's surprisingly calm, despite the fact that you're only about half a football field away from a giant skeleton that just tried to murder you the day before. As the sun rises. Go ahead. You're saying something, Michael?
Oh, I just said thus is D&D.
Mm-hmm.
The half a football field away is a giant dead corpse of the monster we just killed.
Nolgrim, Taskill, you have final watch, so you see light slowly beginning to rise in the forest. And you are greeted by the sound of a click snap of metal as Fergus's bear trap goes off just at the end of your shift.
This breakfast has arrived.
Fortuitous timing. Unless if it's some sort of otherworldly evil that's lurking above here that was meant to be kept out.
Well, either way, we should wake the lads and then check.
I think it'll keep for a bit longer if we want to let them finish their rest.
Said it was about the end.
Yeah, it was about the end.
Okay.
The sun's starting to come up.
Okay. Yeah, then we could do that.
It's funny because you're thinking about whatever unnatural evil could be inhabiting this place, Nolgrim. You go over to the bear trap, and it's dead in the bear trap is a light brown-furred, cotton-tailed rabbit. Just a very ordinary forest critter.
I've heard stories of these, or at least one before, would jump from person to person and bite their head off with his little teeth.
Aye, the claws and the fangs and the fangs.
I just pull it up by the ears. Well, this one is breakfast. I'm gonna go get a stew going. We still have some of those drow spices.
Aye.
Thrum, you're good at it. See if there's any tubers growing around here.
Oh, our food's
Yeah, I was gonna say, Thrum, we should take a little while while we're up here to get some actual grub.
Aye. Can't fault you for that.
Maybe we can find a new cow. But yeah, I would just unroll my supplies and start picking at different things to make the stew and basically make breakfast for everybody.
Yeah, Thrum will survival to see if he can't scrounge up some edibles around.
And taters and carrots.
You're wandering into the forest a little deeper.
Oof.
There's nothing up here but green stuff.
Yeah, it's a lush, beautiful green forest in the prime of its life, being as far as you could be from winter. Thrum, the avid Underdark explorer, knows what none of this shit is.
Can't find a damn thing to eat.
Like, the irony is if he was like a druid or something, this place would be like a smorgasbord, but he has no idea.
He's the kind of druid that lives in the dark.
Yeah.
He's not used to this daylight shit. Mm-hmm. By the way, Ivy's probably having a miserable time when the sun's coming up.
Yeah,
now.
about an hour after the sun comes up, she's like, okay, now I get it. As she is
refreshing, isn't it?
All perception tests, yeah.
Comes back every day.
It looks like the canopies of the trees do cast plenty of lights if you go into the forest. So if you were to explore, she would still have disadvantage, but she wouldn't be in like active pain.
No, we'll make an effort to help gather food too. Or
don't waste your time. There isn't any up here.
Nolgrim takes him at his word. Like, no, fair point.
Now,
we need something to go with this rabbit.
Do we want to continue searching these hexes outside, or do we want to head back into the cavern?
I'd like to take a day so we can at least find a very high vantage point, like a tree or something, so we can kind of get a little bit of a lay of the land.
Like I said, I'm fine with exploring out here a bit.
Ivy speaks up. I mean, my eyes may be on fire, but I'm not covered in insects crawling around on me, so...
We can
There's
travel.
we're
We
sinking
can
into
travel
the
at
dirt.
night if it helps Ivy.
Yeah. I mean, we can take a day here and rest and
Yeah,
try to set out at sunset or something.
No, we can do whatever. I'm getting used to it. Out of character, she will never get used to it, but she's gonna try.
I'm
She's
fine
trying
with
to be a good sport about it.
I think if anything, we might have a better advantage at night than most.
Yeah, especially with our spyglass that we can see in the dark anyway. So
Well,
it
I'm not
really
sure how-
it won't really hinder us with the scoping out the lay of the land.
I'm not sure how beneficial hunting for fauna will be at night.
Is this like a mountain behind us?
Yeah, you guys look up, and it's like a sheer cliff wall of solid rock as just the sheer weight and height of the world spine rears up behind you. It occurs to you while you were thinking about this, you guys went about 2,000 feet underground during the Great Jumping Off Point, and you were deeper than that when you went down to the fungal jungle. But now you're out in sunlight level, so wherever this must be, you must be in like a valley or something to be at this lower ground level.
Any kind of knowledge to have an idea on in the world where a big valley like this would be?
Or would we be on the north side of the mountain versus the south side or east side? Or...
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible that without needing to roll, it's not impossible to just be in a random mountain valley of the World Spine Mountains. The mountains themselves are often very jagged and steep on the outside, so very few people have had the guts or fortitude to be scaling up and down entire mountains to explore the surface area of it.
When the sun's rising, though, would we be able to tell which way is north at least?
Yes.
North. According to the map, it'd probably be just like this.
Yeah, it is just straight up north.
I just for character-wise, we'd be able to kind of get a sense that maybe we're coming out on the south end of one of the mountains of this area.
Yeah, you're definitely coming on the south end. North is straight up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are we gonna look around, or?
I think we could spare a bit of time to look for food and just otherwise take in the sights of it. And I just don't want to go back to the jungle, if I'm going to be honest.
And with this being another entrance, I would like to try and figure out where it is on our world map.
Yes. Yeah, let's pack up a little bit of our stuff and see if we can leave anything for Miku to help keep him safe, since he won't be able to travel with us out of the cave.
The good news is he only needs about 4 hours of sleep because he does Sentinel's Rest. So, of anyone to solo watch this, he would be the best.
We need to get him a gun.
How would he pull the trigger?
He throws it at them. Hollywood has taught me that. Yeah, he has fingers.
Okay.
But I imagine they're not the most.
He's got
dexterous.
3 fingers and a thumb that are wider than normal. Yeah, but if Hollywood has taught me anything, is that all guns are just ready to fire at literally the slightest touch wrong. I think it was I forgot what movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but someone dropped an Uzi down a staircase, and every single step it fired off. It's like, that's not how guns work. Anyway, so you guys are gonna set out. Yep. You can go any direction except directly south, because that's just into a wall.
All right, let's just go north.
Go north?
That's what I say, unless anyone has any other ideas.
That sounds fine to me.
All right.
Ivy, this is a tree.
It's the reason you breathe.
You know, Thrum, I want to be sarcastic right now, but I've never actually seen one of these before, so...
Aye.
It's where you get all your oxygen if you ignore the phytoplankton in the ocean.
They're very, very useful. You see, you chop them down and then cut up the stems to make firewood for heat, for fuel for a fire, so that you can fan the flames of your forges.
No, none of us are a Fletcher of any kind, are we? Like, no one can make anything like that?
No.
Not efficiently.
Maybe?
I was thinking about restocking our arrow supply as well as seeing if I can finally get a goddamn longbow, but that seems a pipe dream at this point.
Have you been
I
tracking your
have
arrows?
thieves,
I have.
smith, tinkers, and carpenters' tools. I'm not so sure if there are specific fletching.
I think it's kind of lumped into carpentry tools.
I mean, it's out of thieves, smiths, tinkers, and carpenters. I feel like you have the equipment.
Yeah.
To answer your question for you, Cope, it said, like, official rulings in the player's handbook, if after a fight you can recover half of all the ammo you expend.
Mhm.
So I just, after every fight, I calculate how much arrows I fired and I recover half of that.
Right. With javelins, you get them all back, and I rule that any magic ammunition that misses is automatically retrieved. Because it would be shitty to fire one magic arrow and have it miss, and then you're like, oh, that's wasted. That would be really dumb. Yeah, you guys go into this forest. There's no paths other than a few like natural game trails. You occasionally go over babbling streams and brooks. Around the base of each one of these very old oak trees are like lots of little wildflowers. They're kind of silver and white and seem to thrive in the intermittent of sun and shade. There's lots of birds, and you're always seeing lots of chipmunks, squirrels, and occasionally deer that kind of stumble away to keep ahead of you. It's just a lush, life-filled forest.
I would be keeping an eye out for any like really large tree that like towers over the rest of them, even if it's only a certain amount, just so I can use it as a vantage point to climb up and get a view.
Yeah. You eventually do find a larger oak tree than the most. It's one of those really, really big ones that have, limbs that are as wide as the trunks of other trees. And it's got like this really warm brown bark, warm in color, not in touch. It's room temperature.
But yeah, I would probably have someone help me, and I would start scaling the tree, taking my time because I'm not the best climber.
Yeah, I'm going to say if someone just gives you a boost up, which would be easy, you don't have to roll athletics because...
Yeah. I also have grappling hooks and rope and everything
Yeah,
else too,
and you're not in a rush. It's not a big deal.
Dwarf in a tree. What kind of expedition is this?
But yeah, I would get to the tippy top and just kind of take a layout and see if I see anything, particularly anything that isn't just tree line, if there's any like, even if it's just like ruins or if there's anything jutting out that might draw my eye. Otherwise, just trying to see how massive this forest might be.
Gotcha. While you're doing that, let's see. Couple things. First off, let's see. Fergus, you probably just left your bag on the ground, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't have taken all my stuff with me.
Yeah, I had a
Just
feeling.
my personal stuff.
Thrum, what you doing? You're just like walking the perimeter while he's doing this?
Yeah, he's grumbling right now about a dwarf in a tree.
You are like kind of pacing back and forth, and you look down and you see Fergus's bag that he left on the ground as he climbed the tree. And you see there is a folded bit of parchment sticking out of one of the side pockets that you haven't really noticed that he had before.
pull it out and look at it.
Okay.
Completely overstep his personal boundaries of property.
While you're doing that, I'll just quickly reveal the hexes. The sea of green there. It's trees all around, as far as the eye can see. While you're doing that, I got a handout for Thrum, which I'll give you in just a second here.
Yeah, I would, when I got to the top of the tree and I see just tree line all around me, I would just kind of lean back on the branch and just kind of take a relaxing look up into the sky and enjoy myself for a few minutes.
Oh yeah, you hear the breeze comes and it just rattles all the leaves and it's very relaxing. It's actually kind of going in the soundtrack, which is nice. Let's see, Freya, what are you doing?
Did we need anything, or I don't know.
Well, currently you guys are just waiting while Fergis climbs a tree. So
Yeah.
I was just like, what are you doing while you're waiting?
Not much. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
Waiting
just like
for him to climb a tree. Come on, man.
Mhm.
It's just a tree.
He's up there a little longer than he should be.
We're all
you're
just
leaning
kinda
up.
shuffling around while he makes a fool of himself.
Freya, you notice this is a big old oak tree, and there's one of the roots that are kind of coming up the ground. That's like it's going over a rock, which is giving it a little extra height. And you just kind of casually move your eyes over it, but then you come back and you have a double take because that rock is not an ordinary rock. It looks shaped and carved, though it is covered in moss. But it looks like it was actually shaped stone. If you want to investigate that more.
I do.
Okay.
You want me to roll investigation?
Sure. Pretty low DC here because you're not in high stress.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
That's still good enough though. It's more just not a natural one check. You brush away the moss, and though it is half embedded in dirt, it looks like it is, it's a scaled up, but it looks like a stylized kind of Art Deco dwarven face, like what dwarves make their golems in the shape of. Kind of embedded here in the ground and forgotten from time. Along the rim of its sort of carved helmet, you see a bunch of dwarven runes. Some of them that you haven't actually seen before in your schematics journal. Which gives you an idea, and you begin pulling out your book. But now we're going back to Thrum, who I am going to show everyone the handout. Show everyone. You guys should have that now. You guys can see it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I can see it.
Does anyone want to read for the class?
Well, I think my vote's either for Cope or Kenneth. So, but I can read it if you guys want.
I think you're the volunteering, so.
Okay. Dear Thrum, I have a small confession. Forgive this pouring of my heart. I cherish the moment near Volthes. I forgot how to pronounce it.
I don't know. It's a weird word. I didn't write it.
Yeah, where we first met. The moment I laid eyes on you, I knew you were a sturdy and fierce dwarf. Recently, I began to regard you as more than just a simple dwarf. My feelings for you intensified when I saw you fighting in the darkness. I was further wowed by your tremendous martial skills. You have arms like masculine roots and the most earthly fists I've ever seen. When I look at you, I just want to embrace those arms and strike that smug face of yours. You're so unique with your earthly ways, the ways you handle your simple nephew. Shows great command and a strong will. I know that to you I am just a young, foolish drow, but I think we could be happy together, fighting each other like the two feral cats in the night. Please say you'll be mine.
What the hell is this for?
You know, Thrum, it's actually not that different from this dwarven creation myth.
I feel like Fergus, you hear that all the way up in the tree as like birds come flying.
Bird scatter.
Yeah, I almost fall out of my little resting point. He's like, okay, I'm coming. And I make my way down the tree.
So while Thrum is shouting, Freya, you're flipping through the pages of your schematics book looking at these runes. And you come to a page, because you inherited this book. It wasn't yours. You didn't write this.
Yep.
You come to this page that you've been kind of confused about for a while, but you think you're starting to make sense of it. It kind of looks like a grid where some of the edges there is filled in with some dwarven runes. And what this is that dwarves have a habit of being greedy, and that can include with knowledge. So not everyone has knowledge of what all the dwarven runes of power are. So your former mentor who gave you this journal was trying to create like a code-breaking cipher to determine the proper order to put runes in to create certain magical effects. All of the spells that you've been casting as an artificer have mainly just been you figuring out and copying what was already in the journal. But if you were able to figure out this cipher, you could start arranging them to create your own magical effects custom rather than just copying them. Looking at the crown, the rim of the helmet there, of this broken down old golem, you see a few runes that were missing from this cipher. Not enough to finish it, but if you could find more examples like this, you might be able to crack the code that your mentor couldn't. And then Thrum yells extremely loudly.
And then I go to check out what's happening over with Thrum to see what beast just attacked him.
Thrum's got the piece of paper, clenched in his fist, and he's banging on the tree. Get down here! You got explaining to do!
Give me a goddamn moment. I know I took a little bit longer up there to enjoy myself, but what's the fucking shouting for?
On a scale of 0 to tomato, how red is Thrum's face?
Thrum's tomato and rotten. I mean, he's swole up.
Probably doesn't even realize he did it.
Yeah, steam coming out of his ears.
Literally.
Yeah.
So what's all the shouting for?
Takes a deep breath, comes back down to size, then gets pissed off again, grabs him. What's this? Where'd you get this? Why do you have this?
Upon looking at the note, I'm like, oh, that, what's her name? The drow lady we let go before and that we chased, what's it?
Hestia?
Yeah, Hestia. When I followed her when we were in the Path of Walking Madness, she had tossed that at me before the pathway before that she had collapsed on fully collapsed. And, it was addressed to you, but I figured you didn't want to hear anything for her, so I just kind of stuffed it in my bag. I didn't really remember anything about it till now.
You should have destroyed it. This is probably some kind of drow magic.
I mean, it was just paper.
Thrum rips it up and
What does it say?
goes stomping along as he's already ripped it up.
Well,
What does it say?
Well, I'll remove the handout then.
if you guys aren't doing anything else, I have something I want to show you guys. And she would lead him back to the half-buried dwarven centurion.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And she'd point out the runes and mention that breakthrough that she just had, and just tell everyone to tell her if they see anything that looks like what's on.
See, I knew coming to the surface was going to be a benefit. That also means that was there maybe a dwarven camp set up here somewhere?
It might have been the site of a dwarven battlefield.
Thrum's
feeling paranoid now, so he's going to do his detect.
Primeval awareness.
Yeah, thank you.
While you were doing that, Primeval Awareness, everyone else, while you guys are discussing this, I want you to either give me an insight or a history check.
Yeah.
I'll go with Taskill since he got the highest.
Mhm.
Taskill, you're listening to everyone talk about this, and they mention, maybe it's like a site of an old dwarven battle. And then you're thinking about, like, what sort of stories may be connected to that. And then all of a sudden, like, the points in your head start lining up. You're on somewhere either within or beyond the World Spine Mountains. A lush natural forest untouched by any sort of industrialization. Ancient dwarven battle that's clearly been here a long time, long enough for this massive oak tree to go on it. And all of a sudden, all the points in your head line up, and you know where in the world you are right now. You are in the lands on the west side of the World Spine Mountains, the vast forded country of Ivashalain, the land of the Wood Elves. At that same moment, Thrum, your Primeval Awareness comes back to you. There is about a dozen elves all around you right now. And you don't even have time to stand up and shout anything before there's a whizzing and a thunking sound as you look down at your foot. And on either side of the foot, about literally touching the skin, is an arrow embedded into the ground. The fletching of the arrow in the multicolored bird feathers of traditional Ivashalain wood elves.
Tricky bastards all around us.
I'm always down to kill more elves.
I shout out in Elven, "We mean no harm, we are simply traveling. Please do not attack us for no reason. I do not want to have any kind of conflict. Please." I'm like, just trying to please.
Well, if you guys can probably see the arrows that were on either side of Thrum's foot, they didn't actually damage him. It's the universal sign of, we're not trying to kill you, but we could have hit you just now.
Yeah.
Hey, it's poetic justice. I get it.
I would like some bacon and eggs.
Maybe, I don't know, like 8 feet directly in front of Thrum, because you're all like within like 5 feet of each other by this tree. A elf stands up wearing a green cloak with a hood pulled up. The colors of the cloak kind of magically shifting to fit the foliage. Like, it's uncanny. It's like he materialized from nowhere, even though that you know that he didn't. He wasn't invisible. But like, there's lots of instances out there. If you look at people that are like really specialized in camouflage, and then you just don't see them until they move.
Mhm.
But it was that level of hidden, like makes ivy blending into stone look like a freaking joke. And this elf stands up, and he fixes you with a cold stare for a moment. He has a longbow in his hands. The arrow is knocked but not drawn back right now. You don't need Thrum's Primeval Awareness to know there's absolutely a lot more of them around you, but for the life of you, none of you can see them.
We've taken this many elves before.
Oh, shut up. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Fergis." I'm like,
Cowards shooting from the bushes, why don't you come out and be seen?
"Oh my god. I apologize for my family in advance.
Invite
the
your
ones
friends
shooting
out and
at
maybe
us.
it'll be a fair fight.
They've had dealings with Drow recently. I would like to apologize on their behalf."
Apologize for nothing. Could have hit my foot.
He's just letting you guys shout for a moment before he says in clear common, "It has been many centuries since dwarves have set foot in this parts of Avasha Lane. State your business and why you walk in our forest.
I'll take this.
Because I'm not some slimy snake slithering around in the bushes.
I just pushed Thrum's face out of the way as I step forward. We've been traveling down in the Underdark for going on, kind of think about it for a moment, over half a year. We're on an expedition for our people, and we found a path leading up into your woods here. And growing up outside of the mountains, I wish to see the sunlight again, as well as just kind of get advantage of where we might be in the world. We do not wish any harm to anybody. We were simply scouting around. We didn't know exactly where we ended up.
What?
By the way, at this point, like my Elvish and my Common are both very thick Corsiconian accents and everything.
Yeah. You don't need insight to know he's not a huge fan of that.
I figured, but I was
traditional wood elves.
In fairness, I wanted to make sure that it was clear that is definitely a thing that my character would do.
You can give me a diplomacy at disadvantage, but you do know that traditional wood elves of Avasha Lane have serious beef with Corsiconia.
Yeah.
Can you would you mind showing us the world map? I just can't picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where we are.
We basically just
Been
came
so
out the
long
other
since
side
we've
of
seen
the
it.
mountains.
Yeah, your Avasha Lane is this entire wooded section on the other side.
Oh,
of
so
the
we
mountains.
popped up over here somewhere.
Yeah, I mean you might be in a mountain valley, but you're somewhere over there.
Oh no.
Which
Did I lose y'all?
Nope.
No.
I hear you.
So my persuasion was a 17 with disadvantage.
Yeah. I'm gonna move you back to the other map. He says, "Your kind rarely ventures anywhere and does anything unless it is profiting you in some way. Why are you out on an expedition?"
That's our business.
You've heard of Dammerhall before, right?
Oh, stupid boy.
We're just looking for that again. I'm sure
Why
you've
not
heard.
give all our secrets to the elves?
Well, I mean, I could.
I assume when you have that interplay, guys, you shouting in Dwarvish rather than Common
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah.
I figure when we were yelling at each other, it's in Dwarvish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I figured too. He says, "Well, regardless of the truth of what you're doing, whatever you're shouting about right now, they'll have time to explain that to the hunt mistress. Drop all your weapons. You're coming with us."
Out of curiosity, Gombo, the hunt mistress, does that ring a bell according to certain things I have?
All of you would probably know this. All elves, drow or not, are innately naturally matriarchal. Drow just have it on a more tyrannical bent.
I more meant like in my additional features and traits. If you go to my character sheet, the thing you sent me, character creation.
No, that does not. It is not relevant.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
As far as you know, it's just some title of authority of the local area. You could give like a history check to see how much you know about traditional wood elves.
Okay, I'll do that. 18.
Yeah. Being they don't have so much of a formal like system of government with like kings and queens and tax collectors and stuff. They mainly exist in enclaves and groves scattered about their land that just coordinate when they need to, but they usually mind different parts of the forest. They're a traditionally chaotic society, so unified kingdoms like dwarves do aren't their deal. So a hunt mistress is probably the title of the local leader of whatever the closest grove is.
The head hit me.
So yeah, you've been just told to drop all your weapons and also
I don't know
arcane
about you
foci
guys,
and
but I I didn't crawl through the Underdark for 7 months to be held prisoner by a bunch of swill drinking knife ears.
Here.
Guys,
Switching something fierce. What's going on? Is there a problem?
guys. If we want to actually have any chance of having Dammerhall be a success, if we do find it, and that's a big if, we do need some kind of allies. And even if they're, smaller groups, this would be plenty of good chance to try to build, peaceful talks with people.
Did you hit your head, boy? Allies with the elves.
Yeah, not all elves are going to be the ones that like the drow that have been attacking us.
Oh,
Nolgrim
sure.
would
He
speak
points
up
to the
and
arrows in
say-
the ground. Already shot at me. Demanding I drop my weapons. These sound like real hospitable folk.
Nolgrim will speak up in Dwarven and say, I believe we are treating Fergus as our soon-to-be liege, eh? So are you sure you want to start a habit of disobeying him in front of foreign dignitaries? Nolgrim will then look to Fergus and say,
I knew I liked Nolgrim the most. He has a good head on his shoulder.
I'll follow your lead.
He does make a good point, Thrum.
The elf who is still standing there with his bow says, I am being very patient right now.
Yes,
You
If, he
all
has
just
to be,
shouting
if
at-
he's going to be the king when we get to Dammerhall, then we have to trust his judgment now.
Shout back in Elvish, as are we.
I chime in Elvish. You'll have to forgive me. The elders of my people aren't very cooperative as I begin to lower my weapons.
Yep, Nolgrim's doing the same and following the lead.
You idiots. You don't follow a dumb leader. You have to educate him. Get him to make better decisions. He's gonna be king. Father Mountain. Thrum throws down his stuff. I don't need weapons to wring your scrawny neck.
Yeah, Freya does the same.
Like heavy sighs from Fergus every time Thrum opens his mouth.
Sorry, guys. Favored enemy.
No, you're good.
Nope, all good.
Yeah, no, I was really just, I was like, someone give me a good reason to put my weapons down. And Nolgrim gave me a good reason too.
Nolgrim's the head of reason.
Yep. Sorry, hold on.
Taskill?
But they said to put down our weapons and what else?
Arcane foci or holy symbols. Basically anything you can use to cast spells or swing attacks or anything like that.
Is Taskill putting his stuff down?
I'll sit down and array my weapons in front of me. I do have a spare holy symbol, but usually I also act like in like Pathfinder and 3rd, I usually also have one integrated into my shield, so I'm not going to tell them about that one.
But they probably want your shield too.
Probably.
Yeah, the elf still watching you kind of steps to the side towards one of the trees, and on the gentle breeze through the trees you guys hear the faint sound of elvish, a voice carried on the wind like in spell casting, and some of the tree roots of this tree grow and become long flexible strands, which he then picks up and pulls out of the ground. And slinging his bow over his shoulder, he walks forward and goes, okay, hands, manacling you.
Nolgrim will look to Fergus.
Yeah, Fergus is like, I would like to cooperate willingly. If there's any chance we might be able to go with Sans manacles, we have nothing on us anymore. I kind of like motion to our bag and stuff. I promise that we'll be on our best behavior, and if it gets to be even worrying at all, I will happily come wear the manacles, but I would like to at least meet with your people without seeming like we were captured breaking laws that we did not know about.
Give me a persuasion at disadvantage.
Yep.
It's going to be a hard one.
Yeah, it's 11.
Yeah. He just looks at you and goes, hands. Please.
I just sigh, and I was like, well, at least you said please.
Yep. He wraps the root around your hands, and both ends of it magically grow together, and then the middle grows, so that way there's no locking mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll go down, and he'll do that for each of you. He's just doing your hand.
Nolgrim would be compliant.
Anyone's having a problem? Ivy's pretty much just following whoever she's standing close to his lead right now.
As they're putting them on Freya, she says in Dwarvish, "This better turn out real fucking well, Fergus."
Well, if it doesn't, I did tell you guys I'm not fit to lead.
Oh, you're proving it now, boy. It's the worst damn decision I've ever heard of. And Thrum's just going to go on monologue of grumbling.
Yep.
Right in the guy's face as he's wrapping him up.
Yep.
Meanwhile, he has other thoughts in his head about the letter that he had to rip up before anyone else could see it.
Confusing thoughts. After you guys are all manacled, he says, "Leave your items on the ground. We will pick them up. Follow me." And he just starts walking into the woods.
Yep,
And then stops, turns around, and makes sure you're following.
I think me and Thrum are probably having no problem because we both have that natural explorer ability now.
Yeah.
By the way, the part we're skipping over here is the part where Freya opens up her backpack and then she just starts taking out like the runes. There's this and this.
You could just drop the entire backpack, honestly.
That's what I did. I put all my stuff in my bag and just put the bag on the ground.
Yep. So yeah, if you start following him, after like a minute of where the clearing is behind you, if any of you like look over your shoulder at the weapons you left lying on the ground, they're just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Don't drop that axe. He'll yell that in the worst Elvish you've ever heard. It's a fine axe from the forges of Dammerhall. Never
Nolgrim
seen.
would have, if allowed, Nolgrim would have made sure to keep the Book of Grudges on his person.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going in the book.
I feel like they would take the book on the off chance you were a wizard, I'll be honest. What's going to be then, Nolgrim? Are you going to let them do that then?
He tried to... He's going to try to persuade them and say,
all right.
I'm not an arcane caster. That's just a book of my people, something that's deeply sentimental. I would prefer to keep it on me. Surely you have elements of your own family that you keep and cherish.
Give me a persuasion at disadvantage.
Persuasion. Disadvantage.
The problem is assuming they were born with a soul, Nolgrim.
So they'll probably take it, huh?
Families.
Yep, they'll take it.
All right.
As we're walking, I'd be like, "So I didn't catch your name, stranger," to the guy that's leading us.
He does not respond to that.
No, didn't think so.
Yep. Ivy's right behind you, Fergus. She's like, "So they're not drow, so is this good?"
Well, I mean, I've had good relations with other elves before. It's really kind of a toss-up. There's some natural hatred between my people and theirs from any various forms.
She glances at Thrum. Yeah, I picked up on that.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, dwarves hate other dwarves. Have you heard of the Duergar?
Yeah, they used to enslave my town.
Yeah, they're not the greatest people either, but dwarves in general have a lot of hate. And if it's not projected at ourselves, it's projected generally, and I kind of like nudge my head towards the elf.
It's weird that the giant spiders in the fungal jungle seem to have less issues with people.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys end up following this guy for the rest of the day. And eventually he stops and says, "We will make camp here for now. We are still a day out from lawful Elaine. I will be here, but make no mistake, you are under watch from many others as well."
Don't suppose you're up for some conversation and I don't think I've met any elves from your country, or at least not personally. Sure I've seen some, but like basically just trying to make small talk and see if he might be able to be like not even predisposed, but just able to like talk about anything. Just kind of.
Give me an insight on him. Just normal insight.
16.
Yeah, this guy is very much actively choosing to be a non-starter. Like, he's just actively resisting being pulled into any kind of conversation. He's just deciding that it's not going to be a thing.
Don't waste your breath. You'll have to talk to his mommy to get any answers.
Fergis would spend some of the time during the camp just, like, talking about the dinosaur area place they went through. Not the rest of everything, or like anything else about the drow or the haunted path. Like talking about the dinosaur graveyard, as well as just like the insects swarming and the dinosaurs and stuff. Like, and I swear, son of a bitch, there was one of them that could turn invisible. It was nuts. Like basically just trying to be as charming as he could possibly be to at least get the guy on his good side a little bit.
Do you ever mention at any point that you're an archer?
I probably would, yeah.
Yeah, that's the most reaction you have in the entire time is just a scoff.
Well, hey, now, I'm not that bad. I mean, granted, I'm not the best, but, I mean, what can you do? Stubby fingers as I kind of wiggle my fingers in front where the cuffs have them.
If what you say is
I'll
true,
show him archery sometime.
and you learned from the elves of Corsiconia, then you're a very poor archer indeed.
Ouch.
Yep, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, I mean, you could be right. I do not know, but I think I'm okay.
As you're kind of sitting there for the night, you can start going to sleep whenever, but Thrum, what's on your mind right now?
If they do anything, I'm going to kill them all. If they do anything, I'm going to kill them all. I'm not going to sleep. There's no way I'm going to sleep. I don't trust
Especially
these
if they hit on me.
pointy-eared bastards.
Yep.
I was just gonna add, does he ever go and like try to like talk in private to someone we can't see or anything during the night?
Nope.
Or does he just kind of stay in our sight?
The closest thing he does, other than just stay there and keep an eye on you, is that if you do try to stay up, he does eventually trance, because elves do that. You would know, all of you would know for various reasons, that elves that trance are still aware of their surroundings. So,
and question for mechanics. My Master of Intrigue lets me match the speech patterns and accents of creatures I've spoken with at least for a minute. Would you allow this, like, conversations as we've been traveling and what very little he's been speaking to count towards that?
Maybe if you squeeze a few more words out of him over the next day, it will, but not quite yet.
Okay, that's fair. That's why I wanted to ask, because technically a minute's not too long, but he's been very stiff-lipped, so.
Yeah. But Thrum, you're sitting there, you're thinking about these elves, thinking how much you don't like them. You probably look down at your like wooden root cuffs, and you think about how if you just turned stone form, these things would just be annihilated instantly, like no questions asked. The cuffs, I mean. And while you're thinking about those two thoughts, maybe give me an insight roll at advantage real quick.
There's a lot of anger, man.
Yeah, never mind. So, stone form, elves, nature, grr.
Yeah, they better not do anything. That's really what he's thinking, is they better not do anything.
I've been forgetting to mark off the day tracker. Hold on.
The
Damn.
next, just as a heads up, Gombo, the next day I would change my speech pattern to start similar to the gnomes and stuff that we've run across in the Underdark. Kind of there, since they seem very predisposed to not like Corsiconia.
Yeah, that's a smart call. You do think about how even if you can mimic the traditional,
It's not perfect.
a Vashalane accent or anything like that, you're a smart enough guy to think that might be a touch of a misstep. If suddenly a dwarf barges the land, he's like, "Let me speak in your accent."
I was only saying that just more of a
Yeah.
like I'm trying to disguise my Corsiconian accent, so I'm like,
definitely.
I could probably just mimic the gnomes because they probably don't speak like dwarves or like Corsiconians. So
Yep, absolutely. If you guys don't do anything in the night, the next day will come, and you have more marching that entire day. It's worth pointing out, he's not like fast marching you. He's not like slave driving you. He does give you food, but it's very much like the Lord of the Rings style, like elven flatbread.
No, I'm not eating that garbage.
Yeah, if you refuse it, he doesn't offer it to you more than once.
Fergus would enjoy it.
Yeah.
During the times that we would stop to eat, he would just start commenting about how it's quite a beautiful forest and stuff, and just basically more making small talk, try to not come off as, angry about this whole situation. Just
and I thought traveling through the Underdark with you was hard. Damn, boy, don't you ever say.
Ivy is next to, marching next to Freya, and she says to Freya in Undercommon, "Well, you did give us some food, and we haven't been whipped yet, so better than Drow so far." Just Freya's dead silent.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was muted. I said, you'll find in time these kind aren't much better than their drow counterpart.
I mean, I'm going to ask the obvious question. Why? Just curious. Like, I know why drow are bad, but...
Did you not see the automaton in the ground? We've warred with these people for years. They don't have any sympathy for us.
I guess. You know better than me, I suppose. I'm just trying not to look up right now. Like, seriously, you live with this all the time? The sun, I mean.
Yep.
Not all the time.
Depends on where you live.
All right. So you guys have another day of marching before, as the sun's settling, he settles you in for camp and informs you that you'll be reaching, make sure I get the name right, Lawful Lane tomorrow. There you will meet with a hunt mistress. She will decide your fate.
Well, hopefully at the very least we can depart amicably. We don't have to make anything harmful about this. I hope we weren't trespassing into, like, religious lands. Like, I kind of, like, say that in, like, a way like, does he look like we did, or...
He gives you a very flat expression. He says, all lands are sacred to the elves of Vashalane.
Well, naturally. I just more meant like a sacred burial ground or something that we were trapezing through or something. But as long as, you know that we didn't mean any harm by anything.
That will be for the hunt mistress to decide.
Hippy dippy fucks. All the land is sacred.
It's gonna turn out he knows Dwarven the entire time, and he's gonna be listening to all you guys, bitch.
Stepped on the magic root. There you go.
Do you guys try to do anything else in the night?
Just gonna go ahead and chill and
Mhm.
again more talk. But if he doesn't respond too much, I wouldn't push him too far. But
We are
Just
getting
kinda
our hit
drift
dice
off.
back with these rests, though, right?
Yeah,
Even though
they are normal full rests. You're good. As I said, it's not like you could imagine that if this was like a drow sort of slave procession, it would be a lot more brutal and you might not get to rest, but this is very much not that.
oh yeah, like by the way, like before I go to bed that night, I'm not sure if you're interested, but I have a bottle of wine in one of my in my pack. If you all wish to partake.
Oh
It's quite
yeah,
good.
drink with your new buddies there.
Well, I mean, you guys don't like elven wine, and I do, so someone might as well enjoy it.
Great time for enjoying a good time.
All right, I'll reveal the next hex. As you guys arrive at the special tree.
Another.
Is it the world tree?
You may think so. As he is leading you, the forest parts somewhat as you slope downhill, and you hear the sound of running water as you enter a almost circular valley basin where it looks like multiple creeks are feeding in to this bottom, trickling down the cliff walls. And in the center of it is the largest tree any of you had ever seen before. A towering oak that's like a mountain of wood that blots out the sun behind it. And you see all within its branches and snaking up the side of its trunk is various dwellings shaped not into the wood, but from the wood, with spiraling, curving staircases and deep green magical lights lighting up the canopy above you. It's an entire city all within one massive tree. It's around this time that you guys see the elves that have been tracking behind you the entire time, besides just the one you were talking with. As they break out from the forest behind you, there's about 11 of them. Most of them look like they were outfitted like the one leading you, rangers, judging by their weapons. But there's a few that are wearing less armor, but still with these kind of shifting magical cloaks that look more magical in nature, perhaps druids. As you guys are marched into town or the city, going up these wooden walkways, the crowd, any sort of crowds or people aren't present, but you do notice lots of non-warrior wood elves watching you from various windows and balconies. No one's engaging you, but it's clear that presence of dwarves in Avasha Lane is something of an unusual sight.
Oh, just a tad.
Mm. Even though that wood may not be any of yours architectural material of choice, the artistry of this druid craft that it took to make the city it's hard not to have it touch even the most jaded of hearts a little bit, with sweeping buttresses made of tree branches and curving stairs that go with the ebb and flow of the nature of the tree, with beautiful murals made out of the inner rings and roots of the tree, using those dark brown lines to create paintings or murals, not paintings, depicting history of the elves of this land. How are you all feeling advancing into this place?
Uneasy.
Nolgrim's trying to keep it from his demeanor, but he is getting increasingly worried as they're just continuing to be escorted deeper and deeper into elven territory.
Really hoping Fergis had a good idea on this one.
Nervous but hopeful. I might have just TPK'd the party in another roundabout way, but you know, what you do.
As you guys are advancing up the stairs, one of you might look out, and you do notice that there is one more elf coming from the woods, who is the unfortunate sod that had to drag the steel defender this whole.
And Freya totally could have guided it along the way, but she did not.
Yeah, its limbs are completely locked, and he's just trying to move it.
In fact, it
starts
in
walking
such a
now.
position that its claws are kind of dug into the ground as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the idea of it's been dragging it this whole way, and when it finally gets into the city, you just have it start walking.
Yeah, actually, that's hilarious. As soon as they cross the threshold into the city, the steel defender perks up and then runs right to Freya's side.
Mm.
Or I guess maybe not right to Freya's side.
Yeah,
they can see that as a weapon, but it perks up and starts walking on its own, is what I mean.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, you're gratified to the sight of seeing the elf trying to shove it, suddenly loses balance and falls on his ass. You are all led into the heartwood of the tree, near the center of it, going through rings upon rings. It looks like they've created dwellings inside the tree, not just on its surface as well. And as you go before two great double doors made out of amber and jade, flanked by two guards, their armor deep green and styled to be like leaves as they hold glaives. They part and simply place hands upon the doors, which then open of their own accord, as it leads you into a grand vaulted throne room. We are at the far end. There is a chair shaped from the wood of the tree itself. The area lit by green mage lights that are all around the corners. There is currently no one in the room other than just guards that are standing and waiting. But as you enter, you see the side walls are lined with various trophies of beasts slain and hunted. Antlers, tusks, very much a hunter's trophy room. The lead Elven Ranger, I'm so used to saying drow, Ranger leads you in and has you all line up, but he doesn't force you to bow or anything like that.
Turns out they were drow in disguise the entire time.
Everyone pulls off their Mission Impossible masks.
Anyway,
this is a really elaborate ruse. You know how many minor illusions it takes to make the sun? Eventually, you guys hear the doors behind you open as light footsteps enter, and entering in is someone who you can only assume is the hunt mistress of Lothal Lane. Now, you might think upon stereotypes or any sort of exposure to high elves, you're expecting some whimsical elven maiden wearing long flowing robes or a dress, but what you see is very much to the title of hunt mistress. She is, by even anyone's standards, even if dwarves don't like it, radiantly beautiful, with long black hair, which she has flowing down her back, and wearing what looks like the styling of leather armor, but it looks like it's made out of pure, just some sort of magical silvery material, ornamented with feathers of various birds around the shoulder. Her skin is so radiant and white, it almost looks like it's made of cream, and her eyes are a deep hazel. On her hip, she has a scimitar sheathed, and in her hands, she carries a clearly magical longbow made of silver, highlighted with what looks like obsidian streaks into it. And
Fergus rules.
yeah, and she has a quiver on her back as she walks past you without looking before reaching the throne, where she takes off her quiver and sets it into the chair and leans the bow next to it, but doesn't sit down as she turns to regard you all for a moment, eyes moving from each, taking you in. Y'all just fidget for a moment.
Nolgrim's looking to Fergus.
Say in
Yeah,
Dwarvish. I say in Dwarvish, you like what you see?
Fergus would do the like head and shoulder like nod bow thing.
Mm.
Not like a full bow, but like a respectful like I bid you welcome, or or not the welcome, but like that like polite like visitor thing.
Nolgrim will follow suit.
Taskill's just standing. Not disrespectfully, but yeah.
I'll leave diplomacy to the diplomats.
She finally speaks and says, I am Ea Ghislaine, and you stand up in my hall of Lothal Elaine. Do you know how many years it has been since your kind has stood in our lands within these halls? 800. And now we find you stooping around the forest, inspecting old war machines of a battle long over. My rangers have informed me your given explanation for why you're here, but I would like to hear it for myself.
I kind of take a small step forward and give another bow and like, my lady, my name is Fergus. I am the youngest of the group here, but they've appointed me essentially heir of Dammerhall, one city that you must know that has been lost to time in the recent years. We have been on a mission to reclaim our lost heritage. While I myself do not have knowledge of my people so much as a youthful outlook from an outside source. I grew up with humans as well as a variety of others. I only recently returned to my people, and they told me that I was to be king when we reclaimed our throne. I wish to have it be different than it was before, but I do not know where to start, as well as I do not even believe we will one day reach Dammerhall. We came up from a fissure in the ground leading towards the Underdark, and were exploring to navigate not only for supplies, but also try to get the lay of the land of where we might have exited. I apologize for anything that might have offended. And yeah, go ahead, Nolgrim.
And I would also like to add that we slew the abomination that was the undead dinosaur that guarded that tunnel. So I do not know if you ventured past it or your folk have, but the path is free now if you ever wish to explore the jungle from beyond that cave.
Her eyes rest upon Fergus for a moment. She says, so you embark upon a quest that you believe will only lead to your own demise.
I'd like to be hopeful on the chance that it might succeed, but I am nothing if not a realist. I set out on this mission of my own accord, and while I would like to see it succeed, my hope is not high, but we have recently come across some information that lead me to believe that it might be more than just hearsay from old dwarven sages and those that are stuck in their ways that believe that everything can magically be restored if we just find a way back to our kingdom.
Though we have done a lot of good along the way so far. We have overthrown a drow stronghold that had enslaved people and allowed its tyranny to spread across the locals. We prevented the Drow from overtaking a city can't remember the technical name of the
Sphere Nebulin or whatever, but
yeah.
the deep gnomes.
Yeah, of the deep gnomes. So I fully expect us to make it, but even if we do not, our journey is not fraught with failure.
And I would add at the end, like, what I truly sought on this mission was not to become some heir to a crumbling people, but to better myself. As through this journey, I hope to find some kind of fulfillment that might lead to me being better than I was originally.
That is quite a story. Fraught with battle and danger, it seems.
Kind of just
and on your honor, you are not here. You are only here with cordial intent. Your people are famed for wishing to possess, and Vashalane is a land of many riches, many which should not be obtained by your kind or others.
The only riches we wish from your people are those that you would freely trade with us for. If you do not wish us in your city or your country, we shall depart the way we came, down back into the catacombs below, and you will not have to see us again. But I would hope that the idea that we might eventually become a civilization again in Dammerhall, the idea of opening trade to anything of any kind that we might be able to supply you with, or you supply us with, might not be met with such harshness that my forebears, and I kind of like throw an eye over at Thrum, like that they might be adverse to. I wish to make our people better, not get stuck in the same rut that we saw ourselves collapse under.
Give me a persuasion. Flat.
Not advantage if I have, since Nolgrim's been assisting me?
I'm going to have a separate thing for him in a second, so
Okay.
no.
Yeah, I knew I was going to roll poorly.
Yep.
A natural 4.
She regards you for a moment and then turns to Nolgrim. And you say that you have slain many drow. Do you have proof of this?
Out of character, I'm trying to recall if we took any.
We have a lot of stuff in our bag of holding. We
Want
have
to see some drow lingerie?
well, we also have the Codex of Savastia.
yeah.
You're telling me that Thrum
Yeah.
doesn't keep like a
We
bandolier
have
of drow
drow
ears on
coinage.
his person?
Yeah. Nolgrim would say, we did recover many items from the stronghold, one of which was, what was it called, a codex of something or other. I do not recall off the top of my head, but it is in our belongings.
Her eyes move over to one of the guards, and she gives a barely imperceptible nod. The guard strides towards you, Nolgrim, drawing a curved knife. And he steps before you and reaches down with a knife and cuts your binding.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one comes up and deposits your bag in front of you, which you never saw them enter with the bag, so that's interesting. And as the guard steps back, she says, "Show me."
Wrong bag. It's in my bag, the green one. Because it is in the bag of holding, which would be in the backpack.
They deposit Thrum's bag in front
Okay.
of...
Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
Yeah. And Nolgrim will produce it and offer it to one of the nearby retainers.
Mm-hmm. They examine it, nod to her. It would seem that you speak true then. Looks over all of you for a moment before she lets out a little sigh, inclines her head towards the guards, and more of them step forward with knives, and they cut all your bindings. She says, "Truthfully, in my many long centuries of life, I have had little common cause with your kind. But you have perpetrated no crimes by our people. And anyone who has made the world short a few more drow is worth the benefit of the doubt. Welcome to Lawful Lane.
Thank you deeply for your understanding.
People step up and return all your items.
I hope this means that we might be able to have talks of trade with your people, if it is permissible by you, my lady.
I remember when Dammerhall was in its prime. She removes her quiver from the throne and sits down, more to relax than to be imperious. She goes, I remember hearing stories of its fall. I became hunt mistress of this glade. Around that time, there was very little that city had that my people would want, and I imagine there'd be very little it has in the future that we would want. But you won't receive an arrow in the back on your way out, if that's what you're concerned.
Yeah, because all they want to do is sit around in trees. No trees in Dammerhall.
We do have various jewels and coinage if you have shops here that would trade with us, but if you don't wish to talk of trade in the future, that is fine by me.
Oh. She regards you for a moment, Fergus.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it, do you?
I do not.
You speak words about how you are so much different then, and she gestures towards Taskill and Thrum, who I imagine are still in almost perma-scowl. Your forebearers, but you hold the same ideals close, even if they're not quite as tightly. Believe everything can be bought and traded. Believe that baubles could have the same values as something else.
If I may, I think that it is simply more of an indication of a young noble seeking to reach out and make friends with potential neighbors, and many cultures see trade as the first step. I would see it.
You idiot boys, if you want to make friends, give her a gift.
I would encourage you to see it more of us trying to reach out an olive branch of mutual understanding and companionship than actual material gain of either of our people.
But you spoke of perusing shops just now. Tell me, young, and she looks at Fergus for a moment. I do apologize. I don't remember if you gave me your name.
Fergus, my lady.
Tell me, young Fergus, what is it that you seek to acquire?
Supplies for our journey. Maybe some upgraded armors and weaponry to defend ourselves. But if I don't know, like he's like kind of second guessing.
Yeah,
I'm not quite aware if you even have shops in the classical sense that I'm used to. I grew up near human settlements, you see, so I'm used to communicating with them, and even though I speak your language, I don't exactly have much experience outside of city-dwelling elves. So I do not know your ways, and I apologize if I offend.
They don't care about anything that's worth anything.
Indeed. My rangers inform me that you have learned archery from some of our cousins in your land.
I have.
Do you consider yourself skilled?
I consider myself like a passable archer, though those of you that have spent your life doing it, it's probably could be a little better than me. I myself have only started recently using my martial skills when I set off on this journey, so he kind of like he holds up his short bow, which is like a city elven like short bow. It still has like the designs of that. It's like, this is what I have traveled with so far, and it is not perfect, but it has suited me fine.
But you wish for a better weapon.
I wouldn't object to it. No. This one here is a little smaller than I wish to. I wish to have something with a little more distance to it.
Very well, young princeling. I shall show you how we barter in Avasha Lane. If you wish a weapon worthy of the Wood Elves, I propose a challenge for you, and you alone.
He's listening.
Mm-hmm. My rangers have informed me that in the woods to the south of here, a silver stag has recently been spotted. A great, rare, and elusive quarry. I can tell you're not without some skill. So here is what I offer to you. Go forth into the woods, hunt the stag, and bring proof that you have secured the kill, and I shall give you an item worthy of a Wood Elven Ranger. You must do this on your own, but fear not. Your family and expedition can stay here in Lotha Lane if they wish. On my honor, there would be no harm that would come to them.
Or maybe you could stop pretending to be an elf.
I hope to be up to the challenge that you've put before me. I kind of look over to his family and like, if you all would wish to be patient and see if this might aid us.
You're the king.
I hear that disdain in your voice, and I take exception to it.
Be quite the thing if you prove to be a better hunter than them.
Go for it.
Okay, then. Out of character, I'm just going to look at our stuff and see if there's anything I want to basically take with me. I'm going to take that potion of invisibility we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that was a good call.
I was just looking at it and
take some poison.
Everyone look at your shit and see if there's something we can help Richard.
Like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I was just like looking at what we have.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely take a couple doses, probably like 3 doses of the drow poison, as well as the potion of invisibility.
Thrum would hand you the silver mirror. Take a look, boy. Remember who the hell you're supposed to be.
Very subtle. Like, when you do that, he kind of just like, oh, hey, hold that still for a moment. And I pull out my knife and I trim my beard up a little bit.
I imagine Thrum against the wall.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
In the meantime, in light of guests, foreign dignitaries, I shall provide your family housing as well while you're upon this quest.
Okie dokie.
You'll all be free to move about Lotha Lane. For now. I request that you stay upon your best behavior.
No problems from me.
Go with peace, and peace is all you shall find. All right, let me grab a Fergis token real quick.
Fergis.
And you are shown.
Watch me, guys, biff this so hard.
I believe in you. Just roll like that T-Rex biting. Not 20s all day.
The good news is, you have Natural Explorer, don't you,
Yes.
Richard? If I remember correctly, it says during overland travel you can ignore non-magical difficult terrain.
Yes.
So
Doesn't slow my terrain. Can't get lost except by magical means.
Well, my rules for marching is that you only ever move as fast as your slowest person. So with you by yourself, you can actually travel 2 hexes per day.
Nice.
Yeah. Thrum could do the same thing, but he's always tagging along with you guys.
Yeah. Question.
Mhm.
Which way did they say it was? I know. I
Due
missed
south.
that. Due south. Okay.
In the meantime, you guys are shown out. You're shown to. It's kind of like an open air bungalow. It's like elves, since they trance, they don't have beds, but they have lots of like floor pillows and stuff. And it's overlooking the valley with the various creeks and waterfalls. And you have a line of sight where you can see Fergis heading out into the forest. And Ivy's there with the rest of you, and she says just kind of to the group in general. So, I feel like I need to reiterate this. Better than the drow.
Oh, you're completely right there.
Marginally from time to time, they have a better temperament.
Seeing the little speck that is Fergus heading out, you think he's going to be okay out there?
I think he'll be just fine.
I feel like there's a joke being played upon him, but maybe that's just me.
He's in his element.
You mean not underground?
I like the picture when she says a joke's being played on him. Like Fergus is thinking that same thing in his head at the same time. He's like, I swear this is just an elaborate prank to show me that I'm no elf or whatever. But whatever. It gives me. He's like, it gives me a time away from my family, and I sorely need that.
So Ivy says to the rest of you, so what do we do in the meantime?
No, go and look around. Are there any elves immediately seen?
Not in your immediate vicinity. They've given you privacy. Your little bungalow, it's like a balcony that you live on, and it doesn't have a door. It's just got a curtain.
Do you think they'd take offense if I had my little bat familiar follow him just so we could check in on him from time to time?
The boy wants an elf quest. Let him go off and have his elf quest.
They did say you're just no help, right? The bat wouldn't be able to provide any. But I do not want to offend our hosts.
I'd leave him. They were pretty clear he needed to do it on his own.
Hey.
People don't understand much, or if it isn't done exactly their way, it's the wrong way.
I like that there's some irony in that from Thrum.
Yeah.
Somewhere lightning strikes.
Alright, well, Nolgrim, let it be then.
I guess we're supposed to sit around whittling sticks and weaving baskets.
Ivy reclines upon one of the floor pillows. I, for one, am thinking about taking a nap till the pain orb goes down. Then I'm going to see if I can't nick something.
The pain.
orb. I have successfully passed it along.
Nolgrim would be inclined to... You said there's like waterfalls and whatnot nearby?
Oh, yeah.
Nolgrim's going to go to a nearby waterfall, throw up turn his silk spider cloak into a hammock and catch some much appreciated Z's under the, in a sunbeam.
Mm-hmm.
As the sun's going down.
I'm just whittling away time with prayers for the safety and success of Fergus.
I guess okay, while the sun shines, I'll head down to the waterfalls and use the spider cloak and see if I can't catch some fish as a net.
How long was this hunting trip supposed to take him?
No time limit was set.
See you next year.
He just runs
All right.
off. Bye, guys. Fuck you.
Freya,
Fergus.
what are you going to do for the rest of your afternoon?
Freya is going to try her hardest to ignore all of the elves.
She's just in the room staring at a wall.
It
Well, they
doesn't
gave our
work.
stuff back, right? So we could.
Yeah, you got all your stuff. I mean, you're pretty sure there's no more of those golems probably here, but there might be some more in the forest. But either way, Fergus, since you already moved... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That is a good point, but I'll let Fergus do his thing.
Yeah, I'm going to interject, but I'm going to try and remember any details about this war, possibly with Nolgrim's help.
Sure. We'll loop back to you probably on the next day, since
no rush.
I will say I also took the Traveler's Any tool.
Yeah, that makes sense. So on your own, you can still move 1 hex this day, because you've only moved 1 hex. So you can move into the one directly south.
Yeah. When I first leave the area and I get away from what I assume is everybody, the first thing I do is I go find just an empty patch of like dirt and stuff, and to get rid of any of my smells, I'm gonna just rub it all over my body and clothes and hair and everything.
Yeah.
To try to get the sense of the scent of the forest on me rather than some foreign smells that might alert animals.
All right. As you move into the next hex, give me a survival roll. At advantage because you eliminated your scent on this first one, because that's very clever. Awesome. You do find the what looks like the trails of a rather large stag, and you're able to start tracking it.
Okay. But yeah, I would do that thing with this weave cloak and kind of set up a little bit into the canopy, so I'm not on the ground in case there's predators around when it gets too dark.
As it's getting dark and the moon is coming out, you can tell by the tracks that you're getting very close to your quarry. Give me a stealth check, since I assume you don't wish to alert it.
Yes. I don't suppose I get advantage with that because I was masking my scent.
Not in this one, but you do succeed if it makes you feel any better.
I was just asking. You know me, and trying to milk any of this stuff where I can.
Yeah. You're creeping around, and you're behind one of the larger oak trees as you see that there is a break in the forest canopy, and an almost full moon. The moonlight comes in, and standing in that moonbeam, you see a great 4-pointed stag. Its fur is completely white, and it almost seems to shimmer with silver as its head is lowered, grazing in this tiny meadow.
So looking around the meadow, is it very open lines for if it started to book it?
Yeah, it's impossible to really mesh it in by yourself. There's too many paths.
Yeah. And does it look like it's free, at a glance with the dark vision stuff? Does it look like there's it's come through this area multiple times?
You see no sign of it doing so. No. But here, I'll actually pop this up. Boop.
Okay. So, being an impatient kid.
Yeah, you can take a charging at it. Melee would definitely alert it, but a ranged attack, you're within range, and you'd have advantage.
Well, I'm gonna pop my potion of invisibility first.
Yeah.
So, I just drink that down, go invisible, and I grab my cloak, and I'm going to bonus action whip it into a net style. And I do want to try to get close to it, but I'm going to have my bow at the ready if I have to drop my cloak in case it tries to run.
All right.
So I'm going to try to get close to it.
Okay. Give me another stealth check as you close in on it.
At advantage because I'm invisible.
Yep. Very aware of their surroundings. Oh, yeah. You're able to get on this thing.
Yep.
On it? Like he's mounting it?
Literally.
No, but
literally. And it has no idea you're there.
Yep.
So let me check something real quick about that weave cloak.
Yeah, it should just function as an ordinary net, if I remember correctly.
Ooh, that's a low strength DC, so it might not even be worth it. And it would be an attack roll, and that would break my stealth immediately.
Mhm.
Okay, that drow poison. That's sweet.
Yeah, I am gonna take a second to dip. I have 3 doses of it, so I believe that'll be 3 arrows.
I could say. Oh, sorry, something in my throat. I'll say you could do that before you creep all close to it.
Actually, before I creep it all close, I'll have it on 1 arrow, but I'll have it on both of my daggers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna get close to it. And you said with a natural 20, I can get right next to it.
Yeah.
So this will all be happening pretty quickly, but I'm because looking around, there's no way to like restrain this thing. It's just in an open field, right?
Yeah, and it is a large animal, by the way. It's a large.
That's why I kind of forego the net idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the poison on the daggers, I'm gonna need to strike with action and bonus action surge, strike it again.
All right. Give me all those attack rolls at once.
So the first one will be at advantage because I'm still invisible while it's still happening.
Yep.
18.
Keep going.
Okay, and then then dagger, and then stab shroom again. God damn it! For those 2, I'm gonna roll the d8s for my.
I will let you know. Don't bother, because you'll figure out why those second 2 failed after the first one.
Okay.
You move forward the stab shroom, and you completely catch it off guard as you give like a primal grunt to stab into this thing. And its head moves up in the direction of where it heard the sound, which is you, but too late as your dagger sinks into its side. But there's less give than there should be, and there's no blood. In fact, there's no give at all, and you fall completely through the deer and on flat on your face.
Yep.
And it immediately springs away and jumps through a tree, and you see it come out the other side and run around another tree and keep going.
Yeah. Does it seem to me like that it's an illusion?
Give me an insight. It's not an illusion because it was definitely consuming grass and it left hoof prints. You still see a few hoof prints from here. You can see the area where it's grazing. You think it might have the magical ability to periodically be ethereal. The Hunt's Mistress did say it was an elusive and hard to kill quarry.
Yeah. Also, wouldn't my stab stream have been able to hit it if it's magical weapon? Even if it's ethereal?
That's the difference between damage reduction because you're incorporeal and physically being on the ethereal plane. It was out of phase with your reality.
Gotcha.
So
blink deer.
Yep. Yeah, just so you know, it does just constantly have blink on it. So on any given round, there's a 50% chance it's on another plane of existence.
Oh shit.
So the hunt is on.
Yep.
So basically,
on the plus side, I didn't use my poison on my daggers because it went through it.
Yeah. You didn't waste any resources,
except for my potion.
Yeah. So just to let you know how this works, we might not be able to finish this tonight, especially as I don't want to just have everyone else be sitting listening to you. Yeah. But basically how it is that you can move 2 hexes a day. It can move 2 hexes a day.
And it's chase.
And it's a chase. When you long rest, it long rests, but it doesn't always necessarily take short rest at the same time as you. That's your time to get up on it. So you'll have to do survival rolls to track it, and you might be going all over the place.
Yep. So fun stuff.
Yep. So while you're doing that, back at Ethelaine, I assume at some point you guys return to your bungalow.
Yeah. Thrum hasn't slept while they were on the trail, so he is going to probably turn in early.
Yeah.
About the time everyone starts returning, they see Freya's getting packed up. She's gonna go start looking for more of those robots.
It's about to be night. Might want to be careful.
I'm packing up for tomorrow.
Gain a feel for the town. Does it seem like as night falls, people largely turn in for the night?
Like any sufficiently large population center, it's kind of a mix of both. Elves, wood elves naturally do have dark vision, so it's the night perturbs them just as little as you do. It looks like it's like a half and half type situation.
Okay. So going for I still sleep for the night, but plan on wandering around during the day. Actually, hold on. He'll ask Ivy if she's already interested in checking out this town.
I've been doing that a little bit. I took a nap when everyone else went out to like waterfalls and stuff, so I might get out. I've been doing that just recently.
Yeah, I mean,
Some of the stuff is pretty wild here, like how they reshape the trees and the natural environment while it's still natural. It's hard to explain.
it's
Honestly,
definitely fascinating. I'm definitely, cultures are something I'm intrigued by, and I'm of a mind to wander around and get a feel for these people and their culture. If you're interested in coming along, or me tag along with you, whatever you plan, dude.
sure. Honestly,
Wait, are y'all going to find a place to have a drink?
I'm not going to avoid such a place if I was to stumble across one.
Thrum gets up.
I'm not sure these elves liked it the last time someone took an interest in their culture.
Honestly, Thrum, some of this stuff that they got going on here, it almost kind of reminds me of when you turn big.
How so?
Well, when you turn big, you turn all rocky, but you're still you. It's like natural plus extra. I don't know. It's just a vibe I get.
I do have to admit, it's wonderful craftsmanship. It's elfy magic, but it is good craftsmanship to get nature to bend for you like they've done.
Thrum, since you've kind of hit the nail on the head there by saying it out loud, I'm not going to make you do another insight check. As you're admiring the wood and everything, you know for a fact that this has to be like druid craft and such to do it. And that reminds you that wood elves, the Avashalain, are famous for being the original druids. They invented druidic magic, essentially. And you remember your conversation with Miku leaving the jungle, where you said you didn't really had anyone to talk to about this stuff. There's the possibility, if it doesn't make you want to kill yourself, you could talk to an elf about what you have going on. If there would be anyone who knows about the druid side of thing, it would be them.
Wow. What a conundrum. It's like, so you're a teenager who's pregnant, but you're pretty sure if you discuss it with your mother, she can help you out of the situation.
Taskill, stay close. We may need to revive him if he chokes on his pride.
Hey.
And this is all happening like internally in your head.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
He's gonna tell his head baby steps. Let's see if we can get a drink. Because, as you pointed out at some point, Gombo, we've been down there for, what, half a year without a drink?
A little over 7 months, yeah.
Yeah, he drink elven stuff now. Because something's got to make these birds stop chirping in his ears.
Wood elves don't have bars so much, but they do make wild berry wine. has barrels that are older than all of you put together. It takes some haggling to convince this elf that uses magic to turn these berries into this wine to let you sample some. But I imagine someone tries to use the hunt mistress said we were representative dignitaries thing, because if you don't, Ivy will.
Nice, Ivy.
Listen, she's absolutely stolen someone's shoes by now.
She's in an elven cloak next time we turn around. Ivy, don't go getting yourself into trouble here. I don't think they're going to have a very long leash for anything we do.
Well, I mean, as you're being served this wine in like these, they look like they're naturally shaped grown glass roots that form a goblet. She goes, I mean, technically, it's the dwarves and the elves that have a problem. I'm a gnome, so maybe I get a free pass. You don't know.
Guilty by association, lass.
But innocent until proven guilty.
Not by elves, I don't think.
All right, let her set the impression for her own people here.
Yeah, so like I said,
she's got to work up to a legacy our forebears have instilled.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, just kind of shoot a amused smirk at Ivy.
100 years from now, the elves sit around talking about how the gnomes stole everything when they visited.
And thus thousands of years of racial stereotypes have been created.
And the seeds of war have been planted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you guys are in this very nice like sitting area with this elven wine, and it's got like a natural pool in it, and you're chatting underneath the moonlight. And Nolgrim, while you're chatting with him, you glance into the pool briefly, and you see a person standing next to you in the reflection. It is a dwarf, but their skin is ashen white, and their beard is torn and matted. There is a bloody wound on their side that's just open, clearly a death blow. And their eyes are that kind of foggy gray, milky white of a corpse that has been out in the sun and is beginning to decompose. And it is just making eye contact with you in the reflection. And it's right behind you.
How dare you?
Rub his eyes, look at the reflection again.
Still there.
Turn his head, look behind him.
Nothing there.
Look back at the mirror. Or in the pool.
It's gone.
You have 7 days.
Oh, God. It was just looking at you, staring as you drink your elven wine in elven country, going, how dare you?
Oh, we'll look at the goblet. There's some good stuff.
It's quite weak by dwarven standards, but it's fruity.
Out of character, I got to interrupt. Sweet moment, but there's this comedian who was doing a stand-up thing where he says, you're ever sitting around in your den, like watching TV, and look over and you catch your girl looking at you, and she's looking at you with this look on her face that says, how the hell did I end up with this guy? That's what just happened.
I don't know. That's never happened to me, Cope.
That happens like twice a week to me.
See, that's never happened to me either, but for a far more depressing reason than you say.
Is a catch-22.
Oh, yeah. I suppose, unless you guys want to go later than normal, I guess that's as good a place as any to break.
We could watch Fergus stumble along more.
I mean, yeah, if we want to do the next day of him hunting.
Sure.
I'm fine with it.
I really want to see if he can get it or not.
Yeah, let's see if we can end the session with his success.
Yeah, at
All
least
right.
one more.
Yeah.
You
Give him another
what-
shot.
Yeah, what's the plan here, Fergus? It's late night, but you don't have to take a rest unless you want to. Richard, you're muted. Richard, is he gone?
Richard
he
might
is
have
taking-
needed to leave.
Yeah, he's taking a rest.
He
Yeah.
usually needs to leave.
Well,
pretty.
he usually says if he needs to leave, but he's muted, so
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
Does he know
Nope.
how to unmute through Skype? Because I kind of muted him because he was beeping again.
Oh, was I beeping again? Yeah, I didn't know. Well, I didn't know that you fucking muted me through Skype, you asshole.
I actually saw the pop up in Skype. Saw the.
How was I supposed to fucking know that?
hey, guys, come on! I brought this up like a couple
I
sessions
fucking
ago.
muted through my headset. I don't mute through Skype. Anyway. Ass.
Man, I wish I could have been in Richard's room watching that.
Anyway, I don't actually want to sleep this night.
Mhm.
I want to try to find where the stag is going to sleep, and I have a plan revolving around that. So,
all right. Give me another survival roll to track it.
ugh.
You pick up its trail, but you're gonna be lagging behind it because it took you a while to find the trail.
I don't have to rush it. I just want to try to find where it's sleeping this night so I can plan around that.
Yeah.
Yes.
The biggest issue you're running into is your base movement speed is 25. Its base movement speed is 50.
But I can
So-
also dash, so I think I can keep up with it.
Yeah. Assuming it doesn't dash.
Well, I can use my action to dash too. But yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It'll still
It's
help.
definitely moved into this hex over here. You can pursue it into the night with like a forced march type deal.
If it's going to be that hard to catch it this night, I'll just wait until the next night for it, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's one of these things where to keep on top of this thing, to have it not get away from you, if you take a short rest, you might start needing to go hex by hex searching. But if you only like take hour short rests, you can keep on its trail, so that way it's easier to find.
Yeah, this is going to suck for me with my rolls, though. I'm just going to push through and try to find it. I'll take a
Okay.
point of exhaustion if I need to.
Well, thankfully there's a Constitution save before a point of exhaustion. So,
Woo, here we go.
yep, no
Yeah.
point of exhaustion.
Nice. Hey, he's right there in your bullseye.
Just within these localized 12 miles. Thankfully, it had already moved some that day, so it wasn't able to move farther because it could normally move like 2 hexes in a go as well. So give me another survival.
God, I cannot roll high on these.
No, that's actually high enough. You managed to close in on it.
Okay, I don't want to be too close to it. I just want to see where it is, where it's going to be resting for the night. And
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead first. What you were going to say?
I said it doesn't look like it's resting anywhere. It looks like you just see it trotting through the woods. It's still a little bit on the wary side, but it's not like actively running anymore. And you definitely, now that you're observing it more than you did in the clearing, you
Mhm.
see how sometimes when it's moving through some of the like underbrush and plant, sometimes its hooves and legs brush against the flowers, and then like 6 seconds later it'll pass through it, and then it'll go back to brushing and things like that.
Does, like, I guess I'll roll on it. Would this thing sleep? Because my plan revolves around that heavily.
Give it a nature. It will sleep, but it'll be a very, very aware sleep.
That's fine.
Animals don't ever clunk out and be dead to the world.
Yeah, I like what I want to. Basically, what I want to do is I want to wait till it's gonna sleep, and then go a ways away from it and dig like a small pit, like enough away where it's not gonna alert it that I'm digging this pit.
Mhm.
And basically, as I approach it, kind of set up a bunch of saplings to kind of bend. So if when it runs to them, it'll snap and try to keep them on the path towards the pit.
Mm-hmm.
Basically trying to use the nature to guide it towards the pit I set up as I get behind it and look like I'm giving chase in that direction.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, you're
I'm trying to set up a pit and while it's resting and then get behind it and try to chase it into it. So that way it'll at least fall into it and I might have more than one clean shot on it.
Gotcha. Also, with that 24 nature, this is what I'll do for you real quick. It has... Visible to everyone. That should work. 25 hit points.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna have to get a few clean hits for that because if I got max damage, it still wouldn't be able to kill it with one clean shot if I was stealth and everything. So
yeah.
What about with your poison?
The poison doesn't do extra damage; it just knocks it unconscious.
It is important to remember that I do keep track of its hit dice. So if it doesn't get a long rest, it can't completely heal. So you can also try the wearing it down over time method.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For now, I just wanted to try this idea where I create a pit and see if I at least can slow it down.
Yeah, give me an athletics check. This will be less to see.
Athletics.
Well, hold on. Here, I was gonna say this would be less to see if you can do it because you'll do it. What you describe isn't that complex if you take the time. It's to see if working through the night doing this, you get a level of exhaustion or not.
Here comes a level of exhaustion. Yep.
Yeah, one level of exhaustion. Sorry, pal.
Yeah, I have a 0 in athletics, and it's always athletics.
You're talking about digging a hole. I couldn't think of it.
No, I know. It's just frustrating sometimes.
I mean, also, it's worth pointing out here for the audience at home, he is a dwarf, and he is diggy hole.
Diggy.
If you don't get that reference, then I'm young. Moving on.
So, what I want to do is... Go ahead.
I would say you succeed in what you're talking about. That's all I was going to say.
So I was going to dig that hole, set up a couple of saplings that aren't too big, but just kind of bend them in a way that if it gets too close to them, it might cause it to snap back at it to kind of keep it on the path. Nothing too major that'll alert it. And then I'm going to get behind it and try to stealthily shoot at it and lure it towards that way.
Yeah. Your thought is that you're going to get behind it and you're going to shoot at it and you're trying to chase it that direction.
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to attack you.
And if I have to circle to the sides of it to keep it on the path.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't a huge pit. It's not going to be its whole body in it, but it's enough that it would probably cause it to trip up and have some trouble getting up out of it.
Yeah, it'll need to do a dex save.
Yeah.
All right. Give me a stealth roll to sneak up on it.
Womp.
That does fail, but the good news is your plan was to try to make it start running.
Yep. And I would have gone wide enough to where it starts running, even if I had failed the stealth. So. Yeah,
exactly. So it's probably within the long range of your short bow right now, but it is actively moving farther away, and you'll need to move to keep up with it.
Yeah. Would I be able to fire off a disadvantaged shot then on its way?
I'll say yeah. No sneak attack, but a normal shot.
It wouldn't have sneak attack. 12 would miss it anyway, I'm sure. Yeah, you see the arrow briefly zip by it, and it just shaves a little fur off of its flank, but it doesn't actually kill it. But the good news is you do know that made physical contact, so it's not like you're hunting a ghost. Goody. But I'm going to give chase and try to lure it into that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What would be a... You know what? Actually, I'll open this up. What do you think would be a good skill to try to push it into the trap you want? You can pitch me on whatever skill you want here.
I would say for this deception, where it looks like I'm trying to actively chase it, but I'm actually trying to lure it exactly where I want it to go.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Give me a deception roll.
God damn it. I rolled a 5.
That's
you were rolling terribly, sir.
I knew this was going to happen as soon as he said a solo thing. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
It's a training arc. Just you have to struggle some before you succeed.
No, I'm not mad. I'm just every time I do anything solo, that's when I roll the worst. Anyway,
all right.
continue.
So it is going to roll a dexterity saving throw to not get caught in your trip trap. Because you weren't enough to succeed, but if you had gotten high enough, I would have given it disadvantage. So first, let me just see if it is ethereal. Okay. So full disclosure, it is proficient in dexterity saving throws, so it's rolling with a +5.
Yeah. That's gonna pass.
Yeah, it passes, but it does lose some time leaping over your trap, so you'll in range for another disadvantage shot.
Okay.
And I will say you did notice while you were watching it, look for a place to sleep, that it does seem like it goes in a cycle of ethereal to material. And when it leapt through your trap, you saw its back legs kind of pass through the upper lip of your pit. So if in this, there's a very high probability it'll be material when you take this attack.
I'll go ahead and fire off a shot. Disadvantage. Fuck it. I'll roll a d8 and see if I can.
Yep.
Nope. 13.
That hits.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Deers do not have the highest AC. They're not exactly armored.
Yeah, unless I get sneak attack, this isn't going anywhere. But yeah, I'll pop up a shot and
Was that
continue the chase.
poison or no?
Is
No.
that poisoned?
Remember, I fired a shot when I first started doing this,
That's right. Yeah.
and I only had the one shot, so I figured that would have been the one. So
But that does put damage on the board. As you give it a little gash on its side there.
okie dokie.
To move away.
Texas heart shot.
Yeah, this is gonna be a long session next game, guys. I'm gonna be at this for a long time.
Women and children who are listening to this way in the future when we're famous, this is going to be the worst hunt, most brutal murder ever. The most unclean kill of an animal.
It's gonna get down to the point where I'm just gonna have to like tackle it and just start stabbing. Hope for the best.
It's gonna be like, have you guys ever seen that video of the person who hit the cow with their car and they keep trying to kill it but it won't die?
Oh my god, I've not seen that, and I kind of want to look
Is this
now.
one where they all shoot it and it still stays alive?
By the time you're finally killing this deer, PETA is going to be there.
Well, PETA would be here for us just including a deer in this game.
I assume we're ending it here, so I'll go ahead and stop.
This could go on for a bit, and I was very intentionally trying to plan stuff for other people to do, so that way we could kind of like go back and forth.
Don't worry, minimum
Yeah.
2 hours of this next session we play is going to be this.
Well, I plan on going out and looking for more of those automatons around this area anyways. So we'll be needing to stay in this area anyways. So I can do that while you're out hunting.
I was just curious what my roles would be like. I'm like, man.
And
This is
anyone
so
who wants
bad.
to help me with that would be cool too.
Yeah.